Brother.
Go ahead.
So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, and it is the Demetra K Show, where we promote all things that go on in the Black community, Black love, knowledge, and all that to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even. And so, again, welcome. Also, like to say thank you to Marcus Guyton for doing everything that he does behind the scenes on Facebook to make the show go further. And also to Facebook and YouTube, the other side of the conversation. You guys make this so much more fun and easy. And this is probably one of the only shows that reads each and every comment because we feel like you should be heard too, not just sitting here listening to Donovan and I. And so we are going to be talking a little bit about Sidney Poitier and a whole bunch of other stuff that has transpired, whatever's on your mind, right? And so, Donovan, before we get started, what say you?
They call me Mr. Tibbs. A very famous movie by Sidney Poitier. He starred in. It was a trilogy, as a matter of fact. And his last one in the trilogy was The Organization, which is very, very good. But yes, iconic actor Sidney Poitier has passed on. A man that migrated to the country, or is not originally, he's a first generation, I guess. No, he migrated. He migrated here to the country and was the first Black actor to win a Best Oscar award. But we want to thank you for joining us. It's Sunday. So when it's Sunday, you are hanging out with me and Demetra K and I. It's the proper antidote. And do not forget to check out Demetra K's podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all of the podcasting formats, iHeartRadio, Spotify, such. So, Demetra, let's get into it. Let's talk about this iconic man, by the way, who also directed the movie. At the time, it was the highest grossing comedy ever. And what movie was that? Starred Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Oh, busting loose,
Stir Crazy.
stir crazy. I knew it was
Yes.
one. Yeah, that's actually what I meant. Is stir crazy.
Yeah, Stir Crazy. Mm-hmm.
All right. So hello, Anais. How you doing? It says shalom and honey. Dude, what's going on? He says great day to you, y'all beautiful people. It's back at you, JJ. What's going on? He says hello, y'all look great. Well, thank you. And Gunstep, how you doing? Long time no see. Hey, hey. And if you guys are on Facebook and you want us to read your comment, click on the link and we would love to do so. But the party is, mostly on YouTube. That's where you see most of the comments and all of that if you want to swing over to YouTube. But if you want to stay on Facebook, that's cool too. And Gunstep says, oh, wow. And Don, how you doing? He says, hey, Demetra and Donovan, what say you? Everything, right? Tracy, what's going on? And that guy from Texas, how you doing? He says, peace, brothers and sisters. And Nikki, how you doing? So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I would just say to start off yesterday, I'm just a side note. I'm from California for most of my life, right? So I'm new here in Texas. And in the middle of the night when you get these alerts that go run for cover because a tornado is coming, you're like, are you
Wait a minute, but you're from California, so it's like earthquakes. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Well, see, the thing is with an earthquake, you don't get a warning. It just shakes, and you're like, But when they tell you a tornado's coming, it's like, okay, I don't have a basement or nothing, so I had to research, what do we do? And they say we'll go into an inner room, and take cover there. My daughter and I were in a closet for like an hour or so. Needless to say, tornado didn't happen. Nerve wracking. But anyway, I digress. Hello, Charles. How are you? Says good evening to the two of you and everyone in the chat. And Anita, how you doing? So anyway, as you guys may or may not know, the other day, I think it was the January. I'm gonna get it together. I promise you. January 6th, Sidney Poitier died. Sidney Poitier, of course, is the nice brown gentleman in the back of Donovan there in the movie Lilies of the Field. A movie he actually won an Oscar for. He passed at 94 years old, so he had been around for quite a while, right? And so Sidney Poitier actually is one of the people that I draw and have drawn inspiration from. Of course, you guys know he's the first to win an Oscar in a best category. So first of a woman or a man, African American. Well, not really African. He is African American. I'll tell you why he's African American, because this is what had happened, okay? Because a lot of people saying that he is an immigrant, which is true, he is. However, he was born over here in the United States. What had happened was his mom went into premature labor as they were visiting, and so he was born here. And then when he was well enough to go, they went back to Barbados, or I think he's from Barbados. Went back over there, and then he came back over here later on. So anyway, that's how he became an immigrant or not an immigrant or whatever. So anyway.
Yeah.
So he was the first Black man, I should say, to win an Oscar, if that means anything to anybody, but it does, I guess, somewhere. So anyway, as I said, I've drawn a lot of inspiration from Sidney Poitier over the years, and I'll add this. Now, this is a story that I read his book, This Life, which is a great book. And do y'all know they selling that book for like $800 on Amazon? I had to find mine. Actually, it was my mom. So, but yeah, they want that kind of money for the book. So anyway, he tells a story about how, and I'll read it to you. So it says, when a young Sidney Poitier answered an ad for actors, he read his lines with difficulty and was told to go be a dishwasher or something. He already was a dishwasher, so this stung. Solidifying his insecurities, he resolved to be successful. And at work, an old waiter sat with him each night, teaching him to read. He went on to become the first Black actor to win the Best Actor and was once, oh gosh, let me see here.
And let's clarify that, because, lead actor, they say nowadays instead of best actor, they say lead actor, because you have supporting actor, you have all the different categories. So the lead actor is the top. That's like you led the movie.
Right. And so it then also says, and he was once ranked the most bankable movie star. So yes, at a time, he was one of the highest paid actors among Black, white, and all of that. And in 1967, they said that he had 3 movies that were like the top movies of the year. And so Sidney Poitier was, doing the damn thing. And the reason why I say that too is because he beat the odds. In the book, he taught, yes, Cece, how you doing? $800 what they want for this book, okay? And I read his autobiography. But so in the book, he talks about how he went on to to the audition, and he said the white director was just, for lack of better words, an a-hole, like because he couldn't really understand him because he had the accent and all of that, and he couldn't read. So he told him, go be a dishwasher. You'll never, ever be able to make it and, be an actor. So go back and be a dishwasher. So he said that he kept those words with him, even though it hurt and even though it stung, as motivation to pursue being an actor. And as you guys know, he was one of the most just awesome actors ever in the world, right? But I love his story because he didn't allow the words of somebody else and the negativity, the doubt, disbelief of somebody else to shape his future. He says, I hear what you're saying to me, but I don't have to receive that, because before he went to that audition, he was already acting and stuff like in Black theaters and things like that. But it should also be said too that Sidney came over here with $3 in his pocket, $3 in his pocket. And then, when he was younger, he was a little mischievous, got into trouble and all of that. Moved from Miami because that's where his family migrated to, Miami, and then moved to New York. And then, the rest is history. But he didn't have an easy road here. When I say to him being successful. And so I guess I want to talk about perseverance in us. What do we need to do? Not even just as a people, but individually. What do we need to do to overcome? Because that's what Sidney was. He was an overcomer. He didn't say, well, I guess this white man is telling me, let me go on and wash some dishes. Let me go be the best dishwasher ever. He's like, nah, I'm going to go be what I wanted to be. And also I want to say this. I know some people will probably say some things negative about Sidney. There's not a perfect person on the planet. Did Sidney have his issues? Yeah, who doesn't, right? But one thing I will say, you guys remember, what's the name of that damn movie? Oh, Hustle and Flow. Remember Hustle and Flow came out, and Sidney, not Sidney, but Terrence, he actually was rapping the song and stuff like that, and he was nominated for an Oscar. Sidney told him, don't you dare. Don't you dare get up there, because they wanted Terrence to sing and rap that at the Academy Awards. I mean, if you listen to the song, It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp, it's pretty problematic. But then to have, an actor who's being nominated for a best actor to get up there and sing It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. Sidney says, don't you dare. Don't you allow them to bring you up there to sing that song. Yeah, I know you were nominated for that movie. However, don't let them humiliate you, because that's what this would be. And y'all notice, if you go back and look at the clip, Terrence was not up there. And that was in sole part due to Sidney Poitier saying you're better than that. So there's 100,000 stories we could tell about him. So Donovan, what say you before we get into these comments?
Yes, a very iconic actor. And guess what? He opened the door for the actors that followed behind him after his era kind of ran. Denzel Washington always credits his struggle within the Hollywood industry and keeping going, other than his wife, to Sidney Poitier, and Sidney, trying to pursue and actually outdo Sidney Poitier. Everything he said, he's like, I've been following. Remember, if you guys go back and look at the Academy Awards, when Denzel finally got the leading actor award, who did he mention? Sidney Poitier. All these years I've been trying to get this award, and I finally did it. And since Sidney Poitier, Forrest Whitaker has gotten the award. Jamie Foxx has gotten the award. So a whole lot of things have been open in regards to Sidney Poitier. But outside of that, how many of you guys know Sidney Poitier opened the industry to a lot of Black people when he became a producer and a director in his own right? Again, Uptown Saturday Night, A Piece of the Action, Let's Do It Again. That's the trilogy I was talking about earlier. Now, one of the more famous in that trilogy was Let's Do It Again, even though Uptown Saturday Night was a classic. But in hip hop, how many verses or things that are taken out of Let's Do It Again are in hip hop right now? Biggie Smalls, Bootney Farnsworth, the Mac, all that stuff is in there. John Amos, all the greats. But he employed in his production company a lot of Black people, not only in front of the camera, but behind the camera. So when we talk about Sidney Poitier, and a lot of Black actors and people that are in certain industries, we really have to research what they are actually doing behind the scenes, and you will be surprised at how many doors they opened. Because when you're talking about these unions and all this other stuff, when you look at these unions, how many of them let Black people in the union? Why do you have different types of union? You got the Hispanic union, you got this union for the carpentry and stuff like that. Sidney Poitier opened a lot of doors for a lot of people, and one of my favorite actors. And if you look behind me, of course, he received the Oscar for Lilies of the Field, and that's A Catholic Nun. I'm a Catholic. Great movie. And I remember when I was in Catholic school, that was a great watch that we didn't have to watch it, but when the movie week came up, that was one of the movies we would watch.
Yes, indeed. And he also said that he was very particular of the roles that he accepted, because he, at the time, said I have 15, 18 million people, that I'm representing. And that was the population of Black people during that time. And so said he had to be careful of the roles that he portrayed, because he did not, want to be casted in a negative light. So anyway, y'all, let me get to you guys' comments. All right. So that guy from Texas says, I ain't scared of no tornado. Well, that makes just you and not me, because I was scared. I was like, I'm too cute to be sucked up and be twirling around up in a tornado somewhere. Hey, Joe, now, how are you? And you say, peace, Queen, Brother Donovan, and fam. And Charles just said, guess who's coming to dinner? No one could tell me a better movie. Yes. And the good thing about being our age, when I say our age, Donovan and I's age, and a couple of you guys in the comment section, when those movies came on, we watched them because we didn't have a whole bunch of choices of television to watch, right? And so our parents, my mom was a big Sidney Poitier fan. Her favorite movie was To Sir with Love, and so we watched all those because our parents was watching those movies. And so we are fortunate in that way. And that guy from Texas says, I thought he was 100. Well, he was close, 94. And he said he died of natural causes. It sounds like he was ailing for some time. And so natural causes is what they're saying. And Jonelle, you say, Let's Do It Again, Forever Classic. Yes, indeed. And you also say The Heat of the Night, Forever Classic. Yeah, and they actually did a spinoff of that with what's his name? Howard. Oh gosh,
Howard Rollins.
Howard Rollins. Yeah, yeah. Did the spinoff of The Heat of the Night with what's the Archie Bunker? I forget his name.
Carol O'Connor.
Carol O'Connor. Yeah, him. So anyway, and Thunder, how you doing? Says hello everyone, and Honeydew says so. Cicely Tyson, an immigrant from St. Kitts, I believe both icons. Yes, indeed. And CC said 800. Yeah, $800. If y'all think I'm lying on Amazon and put in This Life by Sidney Poitier, they want almost $800 for that book. And JJ says Black's life history costs so much. It says, I remember I wanted to buy a Black Panther movie. It was $300. The lowest is $80. I never looked back. It appears on TV years later. Yeah, I mean, because I wanted to try to get it because I can't find my mom's copy. Hopefully it's somewhere. And I was like, are they kidding?
Walter probably stole it.
And hey, Leather and Luxury Cars, long time no see. And CC says, I always have respect for Sidney. Yes, indeed. And Al, how you doing? It says, Shoot to Kill was a good movie.
Yeah, and that was one of the ones like in the 80s or 90s that came out when he came back from acting after directing for so long. A lot of people don't know this either. Before he won in 1963 the Oscar for Lilies of the Field, he was nominated for an Oscar in The Defiant Ones with Tony Curtis.
Yeah, that was a good movie as well. And Sunlight, how you doing? Says hello, family. And Thunder says he was the personification of what a dignified Black man was to be. To me, he had the ability to stand tall and be self-confident and have pride as a Black man without coming off as arrogant. Yes, indeed. And JJ says, do y'all remember Ghost Dad? Yeah, that was with Richard Pryor, right?
That was with Bill Cosby. It bombed at the box office.
Yeah,
it bombed at the box office, but it was directed by Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, that's actually who I meant. I don't know why I said Richard Pryor. And Sunlight says, Let's Do It Again was the best. Yes, indeed. And the soundtrack wasn't that bad either, right? And the guy from Texas says, I remember Let's Do It Again. JJ Walker was in that movie. Yes, indeed. And Leather and Luxury Car says, can actually tune in, enjoy, and learn something for once. Nice to have some time off. Yay! And Cece says he refused the role once because the character they wanted him to play, daughter, was lynched, and they wanted the character to basically be peaceful about it. He said he would not play a character like that. Yes, indeed. And that's what he said. Nah, y'all not. I can do a lot of things, but that kind of stuff I'm not going to do.
See, and especially after you win the top lead actor, this is why I'm so upset with Jamie Foxx. Here's a man that won the lead acting gig, and then what did he do? He immediately turned around. Well, and he could do what he wants, but he won the top lead actor, and yet he wants to be a singer. We know you could sing, brother, but you just won the lead actor, in this genre. Now, when you see Jamie Foxx, an Academy Award winning lead actor, he's usually the co-star or he's second billed. And that's one of the mistakes we make in Hollywood sometimes when we don't take our wealth and our position and we settle for other roles just to do other things.
Can I tell you a secret?
Tell me a secret.
Jamie Foxx was a singer first.
Yes, I know that. But what I'm saying is, though, it doesn't matter. If you got the top leading actor, that's why I said, we know you could sing, brother. We already know that.
I actually saw him before anybody even knew who he was, before he struck it big at a showcase. And I was like, this brother's going places. Because when I tell you he was playing the keyboard and blowing, I was like, wow. And so when I saw him on The Living Color, I was like, I saw him at Hollywood. He was because I did a little background singing myself.
Yes,
so absolutely. I was there. And I saw him. I was like, that brother's going places. Yeah, so I wasn't surprised that he sang as well.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. But when you go into a certain genre, and I have his first album, Unpredictable. How many of you guys know that on Foxx Records?
Unpredictable.
But excuse the noise, you guys. But when you go into a genre and you're the top person, you gotta kind of stay in that genre, because are you going to be more known? I'm sorry, you guys. Are you going to be more known as an actor and seen around the world, or versus a genre of singing? You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Good example, Kevin Bacon. He's a well-renowned actor. How many of you guys know Kevin Bacon has a band and an album with his brother, and he does that? No, but that isn't his bread and butter. He uses his acting as his main his main spill. And it just pisses me off that you see this man who's a lead actor, and now he's relegated to roles behind people who never even won an Oscar.
James got a lot of money though, so he's probably just like, eh. But anyway, uh, and Honeydew says so many black actors felt that way about setting an example for the culture, but nowadays the lines are blurred. Oh yeah, you could believe that they just doing any and everything. And let's see, and Jeffrey, how you doing? He says, "What up, family?" So you mean to tell me that you have time to hang out with us little people? You're not traveling the globe somewhere. Well, how you doing? And Georgia Rose, how you doing? It says Raising the Sun. Oh, yes, Raisin in the Sun. Classic all day long. And Pamela, how you doing? Says I was listening to the show yesterday that you did for an hour about some guy filling up the gas tank for some lady. I'm going to be honest, I am disabled and I can't put my own gas in my car. I know on the handicap placard that the people that work at the gas station will help me. If I don't want to put gas in my car, I don't let no strange man put gas in my car. I know people have asked me and I just say I can do it myself. Yeah. And she's talking about the video, or actually the podcast that Donovan and I did yesterday. We put it up on the pages and we're discussing a lady and had an interaction with a guy who approached her and he wasn't looking all that well. And we could discuss that too if you guys like. And so Georgia Rosa says, hey, y'all. And Ray Sean, what's going on with you? Says, hello, Queen Demetra, brother Don and Room. And Donovan said, what was the movie? Also, you answered that already about the three movies in 1967.
No, I only named two of them. I just said there's three.
You said, so what was the three movies that came out in 1967 starring Sidney? 1960.
Yeah, we already said, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Mm-hmm.
What else? Heat of the Night.
Okay.
To Serve with Love.
Oh, thank you. And Alice says, I liked him in The Jackal with Bruce Willis. Wow. So yeah, I didn't even realize he was in that movie. So he was acting really for quite a long time. And Jonah says Robert Townsend was given refuge by Sidney Poitier after his divorce. Sidney Poitier forged the way for so many. He also did Stir Crazy with Richard Pryor. Yes, indeed. And hey, Brother Samuel. And Brother Samuel found him a copy for $13 of This Life. But I couldn't find it on that site that you sent me. I couldn't find it at all. But he found a copy for $13. So yeah, my hat's off to you for finding that. And Thunder says, if only more actors and artists took Sidney Poitier's stance about what their image will be. Exactly. Yeah, now people are just doing stuff for the money, no matter what it does to everybody else, right?
Wait, let me say this real quick. Now, doesn't this kind of go back to the stance that Monique takes in regards to roles she got once she won the Oscar?
Absolutely. And Jonah says, they call me Mr. Tibbs, another classic. Hey, Monet, how you doing?
That was in the trilogy. That was in In the Heat of the Night. They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. And the last one, The Organization.
Monet, how you doing? That guy from Texas says Hollywood loves to typecast Black folks. Yes, indeed. And Anita says, yes, Raisin in the Sun is my absolute favorite. That is an awesome movie from beginning to end.
What other actor was in A Raisin a Sun that was Academy Award winner?
I know Ruby Dee was in there.
Right, but she didn't win an Academy Award. He won an Academy Award in 1982. Only two things come from Oklahoma. Steers and whatever else, okay? Louis Gossett Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
very
was
young.
Well.
Very
young.
young.
Very young.
And Charles says, not to take any shine off of how our fine brother, but we lost another one this morning in Tume. Most only know James, but to my favorite music, he was a big activist. Okay, so
yeah, James Mtume, yeah. The group Mtume, he produced Stephanie Mills, a lot of songs with Stephanie Mills. And
what song did they have?
What do you mean? What song did they produce?
Yeah,
with Stephanie. Oh, it's
no, they were like their biggest.
Oh,
song.
Juicy Fruit.
Mm-hmm.
It was the biggest one that was produced by him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, R.I.P. most definitely. Yeah. And Thunder, you say they call me Mr. Tibbs. Sidney said, when you say it, put some respect on my name. And what's the clip that there's been trending around social media of him slapping a white guy? Everybody's just posting it everywhere. And JJ
Haven't
says,
seen it.
love the Harry and Sidney movie. And Al says, after Jamie won, the next movie he did was a flop film, Stealth, and he was killed. The movie was a fake imitation of Clint Eastwood's Firefox.
Yeah, well, actually, Al, he actually had done Stealth before he won the Oscar, because you know how sometimes in movies you can film a movie 3 years ago and they won't release it until like a year later or something like that. So he actually had done that before.
Got it. And C.A. Latre, how you doing? You say he was a producer among a whole bunch of stuff, right? And Thunder says, I jumped up and cheered when he backhanded that man. That's the clip I'm talking about. See, everybody all over social media posting it. And the guy from Texas says, Sandra, oh, and Tawana, if I didn't already, how are
She
you?
got it, Louis Gossett. Yeah,
yes,
she got it.
so yeah. And Ciela Trey, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. You said, Donovan, who is this hot girl with hoops replacing Demetra?
Well, I'm just trying her out right now. So, you know, if she don't work out, I just go on to the next younger one, you know, because sometimes somebody, the rabbit, the coat and the rabbit's getting old, baby. I gotta change it up.
And Thunder says, that look on his face when he got touched up by Sidney was priceless. Pay attention, family. He was showing us the proper way to check those Karens way back then. And, you know, I said it's funny because we see a lot of people posting it, but it's like, yeah, that's online. But would you be able to do that in real life? You know what I mean? Yes, sir. Yeah, okay, yes, sir. But yeah, that was very iconic. And Tawana says, A Patch of Blue, 1965. And for Love of Ivy is a 1968 are the two of his underrated films.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't know if you guys are watching cable, and Tawana, you're right, A Patch of Blues with the blind girl and stuff like that. You know, it's underrated because it didn't make a lot of money, or it didn't really become very popular. But if you look at the acting, and especially in A Patch of Blue, that was an excellent movie. And if you guys have cable out there, for the love of me, I do not understand why nobody has the TCM. I love TCM, where you can see the old movies and stuff, and sometimes they'll do a block of a certain star, and you can see all of their movies right there. So hopefully they'll do a tribute to Sidney Poitier, and you can see some of those movies.
Yes, indeed. And Anastasia, how are you? Says that's In the Heat of the Night, and that was the ducked up and found the effed up and found out moment. And Anais, you say James and Tume, you know how to love me. And you also say you, me, and he. What we gonna do, baby? See, I'm aging myself now. Yes, and Anastasia says, I love the Raisin in the Sun, and Bass Reeves beat him, beat up his slave terrorists and walked away. And he says, I love to. And then Sunlight says, Turner Classic Movies. And
Turner Classic Movies, you can see a bunch of TCM. Yeah, excellent. And sometimes they put modern movies in there, so you never know.
Hello, Reginald. How are you? He says, hey to beautiful Demetra. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I don't see any more comments. I guess it's time to go. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, wait, see, there's another movie that nobody talks about. He also did Westerns. How many of you guys remember Buck and the Preacher with Harry Belafonte?
Mm-hmm.
Buck and the Preacher, yeah.
And who else was in that movie? Was Max Julian in that movie?
I'm not sure, young Max Julian, but I know Biggie Smalls was in it. He had a small part in that one. I forgot the actor's name at the time.
Not the
yeah, not Biggie, but Biggie Smalls, the guy. Yeah,
Biggie Smalls and Geechee Dan.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see here. Moni, how you doing? He says, good evening, wonderful Demetra and sexy Donovan. I think he meant much Detroit love to both you. It's cold as hell, oxymoron there. And I'm just waking up from my nap, and I'm glad that I caught you guys, and we're glad you caught us too. And Anastasia says, I love TCM. It's amazing. I do too. I don't have cable, but when I did, that was one of the channels that I watched a lot, especially if I was trying to go to sleep. You know, the music is so soft and the voices, oh, Carrie, oh, Karen, oh,
Yeah, and you can always get a good Humphrey Bogart movie on there. The old Norse movies and stuff. And every now and then they'll go back and do a black feature block. Why are the black people always dancing in the
Oh,
movie?
yeah, like Cabin in the Sky.
Yeah, you're dancing
Yeah,
or Little Rascals.
all of that. Uh-huh. But I like that channel as well. I like black and white movies. And let's see, where am I? And Thunder says TCM brings back memories. Let me ask you this, Thunder. Do you sit up with what's your ladies' names? Gertrude and Mildred. Do y'all sit up together and rub Ben Gay on each other while they're wearing slips and watch black and white movies? I'm curious. And Tawana says, I have all but 2 of his movies on DVD. So you are a fan. All right.
Yeah, in early 1960, he also was in a movie that's been redone over and over again. Something about old men country or something like that. It was based in South Africa. No Time for Old Men, I think it was
No
called.
Country for Old Men?
Yeah, No Country for Old Men.
That's
Yeah.
a remake?
Yeah, Sidney Poitier did that in the 60s. It's been done like 3 or 4 times.
You talking about what Anton Chigurh, where he was rolling around with that air gun and he was offing people?
No. This is the one where it's in South Africa. It's all based in South Africa,
gotcha.
and it's an African movie, but it was redone. No, Old Men something. James Earl Jones did a version of it with Richard Harris. It's been done 3 or 4 times.
All right. And Thunder says yes, Buck and the Preacher. Okay, so that's where Max Julie. I thought I saw him on that movie. And Anais, she says Entombed will always be relevant to music because of the synthesizers. Yes, indeed. Mona says, I'd like to say that I am truly going to miss the gorgeous Sidney Poitier, who had the most sexiest nose, and I love the accent. I was really sad that he passed away, but he made it to 94 years old. Yes, which a lot of people will not get anywhere close to 94, right? So it is a blessing. And Sunlight says, I think you can get TCM with rabbit ears. No, my
bad. Yeah, that's Bounce TV.
Oh, no, that's Bounce. Stop it. Bounce TV. Okay, got it. And JJ says Ruby D was in Buck and the Preacher. Yes. And that guy from Texas says, I'll have to find a Raisin in the Sun on Hulu. Yeah, that's an excellent movie. You know what? I didn't even mind the remake that Puffy did. I think it was with Audra, somebody. I can't remember.
Yeah, he did with Audra. What's her name? And
Felicia Rashad.
Felicia Rashad. Yeah.
That was a pretty. Yeah, that was. He did a really good job. I was shocked. And Anastasia, you say Buck and the Preacher was one of the first films directed by an African American and to be based on a brand of African American fighting against white majority. Okay. Hey, Brian, how you doing? And JJ says for Love of Ivy.
And real quick, before Spencer Tracy died, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was one of the last movies he made before he died. And Spencer Tracy is an old school actor and did a lot of activism behind the scenes and stuff. But but a lot of people that watch that movie, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, had a lot of tropes in regards to civil rights and how Black people are treated in interracial relationships. So something to look at. That's why. What's the remake that was done with Ashton Kutcher and Bernie Mac? I didn't really. Yeah, well, it's the same thing, but it had a more modern take on it, but it didn't have the messaging that the one did.
Yeah, it was more like a comedy. I mean, I guess Who's Coming In was a comedy too, but this one was more so, I should say. And then Rex, how you doing? He says, much love to you guys. He says, I used to mimic Sidney's voice, mannerisms as a kid. Representation matters. Yes, indeed. And much love to you as well. And that's one thing that he was very big on, representation, because he knew who he was representing, and it wasn't just himself. I'm asking Thunder, did y'all sit up and watch TCM together? What? Eating buttermilk and cornbread? What? Do tell.
Hog maws, some hothead cheese, with some with some buttermilk on the side.
Yeah. Martin says, I love the movie Mr. Tibbs, To Serve with Love. Which Way Is Up? I like Buck and the Preacher. He says as well. He's been in a lot of great movies. I like the fact that it was a handsome man that really kept his looks up. Yes, indeed. He was very debonair, if you will. And Anastasia says, I used to love Gone with the Wind on TCM until I became conscious. And Hattie McDaniel said she'd rather play a maid than be one. Yes, indeed. Gone with the Wind. I mean, I like Gone with the Wind, but yeah, well, you know why the movie was what it was about, as far as the Confederate South and all of that. But iconic movie, nevertheless, I guess you could say, for a whole host of reasons.
Yes, well, if you guys are complaining about that movie, I hear nobody talking about a movie that I went to Disneyland. My mom was working at Disneyland at the time, and when she had to work late and stuff like that in HR, we had to come, and sit around. So we would go to the theater, and I saw one of the most racist movies I had ever seen, up and even until this day.
And what movie is that?
Song of the South.
Oh.
Song of the South. Have you guys noticed they do not play that movie anywhere, and they do not release it?
Yeah, they actually took it. They took it. They stopped playing it, took it off of Disney and all of that.
It's not released unless you got the old cassette tape or whatever it is. They will not re-release Song of the South.
And wasn't that playing in Disneyland or one of the rides?
Yes, there was a ride of it too as well. Brer Patch and all that stuff.
Yeah. And we're just okay. Where did I go? And Anna says most people will die way before 94. Yes, indeed. So to be that old is a blessing. And Tawana says Calvin Lockhart played Biggie Smalls.
Yes, Calvin Lockhart. Remember, and Calvin Lockhart's last movie was Predator 2 with Danny Glover. He played the Jamaican guy.
Yes, indeed. He was a good-looking brother boy back in the day, I tell you that. But anyway, I digress. And Anna says Audra McDonald. Yes, that's right. I know it wasn't Audra Day. I knew it was Audra somebody.
And Audra McDonald. And I love the fact that a lot of these people who are in the arts are multifaceted. How many of you guys know I got a couple of her albums? Audra McDonald is also a singer.
And that's why I wasn't trying to confuse it with Audra Day, because Audra Day sings as well. She played Billie Holiday in the Billie Holiday movie that was she was nominated for, and that she can sing and she can act. It was her first acting role. So anyway. Jonah says Harry Belafonte wasn't Buck and the Preacher with Sidney Poitier. Okay, so it wasn't Max Julian then. And Anastasia says Sidney Poitier wasn't in Which Way Is Up. That was Richard Pryor. But you're saying he directed it?
No. Most of the Richard Pryor movies was directed by what's that black director? I mean, he was an he was a good director, but it wasn't Sidney Poitier. Didn't direct him. Sidney Poitier only directed Richard Pryor in
you talking about Bill Duke?
Night, and Stir Crazy.
You talking about Bill Duke?
No, wasn't Bill Duke wasn't even directing it. Yeah, I forgot his name, but he's a known. He did Car Wash. He directed Car Wash and those kind of movies.
I don't know why I thought Bill Duke did that. I know Bill Duke was in it. Yeah. Okay. And Melanie says, Demetri, that's really gross, talking about rubbing then gay and watching a movie that got a sickening. You got to go through all that. I say it's just time to move to a pie in the sky. And what movie is that? I'm lost, Moni. Do tell. And Cece says, guess who? And I think you meant guess who's coming to dinner. And Connie says the clip where Sidney slaps the white man is from a movie In the Heat of the Night. The script was written for him not to slap the man back, but he told the director that no man would be allowed. And then I think it comment cut off, so I'll get the rest of it.
I just looked it up. Michael Schultz directed those movies, which is Richard Pryor in the 70s. Most of Richard Pryor movies in the 70s was directed by Michael Schultz. Okay. Richard Pryor's best movie to me was when he did the biopic of the first black African-American race car driver. Grease Lightning was the movie. Grease Lightning.
Okay. And Thunder says, no, TCM is what my mom and I watched back when I was a kid. The one movie everyone forgets about is the movie The Long Boats. He played the role of a pharaoh or sultan. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So we got to go back and watch all those, huh? Because a lot of those I watched when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because my mom, so we watched them and stuff.
Yeah, and if you think about it, a lot of the great stars today or the icons today, if you go back into the 1950s when they were just starting, they were just in small bit parts, and you'll see them in different movies and stuff. And then they get bigger and they get casted and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Some of them tragedies and other things like that, but you will see them as very, very young people. But isn't it? And speaking of that, Demetra, like one of my favorite actors of all time, of course, I loved, what's his name? Henry Fonda. But I used to love Jack Klugman. And to see him in The Twilight Zone, and then, as he got older playing Quincy and stuff, a lot of our icons.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Wait a minute now. What you know about Quincy?
What? That was the first CSI. Are you kidding? That was the first CSI on TV.
When I tell you, my mama used to watch some Quincy,
Yes.
Medical MD. Oh my
Yes.
God. And then I'll never forget when it came on, he'd be with the ladies in the
Yeah,
bikinis
on the
and
boat
he'd
and
lean
stuff.
over.
Yeah, chilling, chilling. I mean, that was that's why I keep saying Hollywood has run out of ideas, because if you look at their shows now and you go back into the 70s and the 60s, you're going to see the exact same show, just reformatted and stuff like that. So that was that. But for us, seeing these young people when we were coming up, now they're super old. Well, not super old, but they're older. Like Steve Austin. He's an old man now, but he was a young dude back in the day, you know?
Yes, indeed. And that guy from Texas says, was that the butterfly fly effect? No. So Ashton Kutcher played in the butterfly fly effect and the remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I think it was Zoe Saldana, if I'm not mistaken, played the lead in that movie as well. And Anastasia says they canceled that movie. And Thunder says, correction, the long ships. Okay. And Anastasia says, but go to Facebook Marketplace, and there's so many copies. I was befuddled and chagrined. Chagrin. But it's typical and basic for this country. Okay, so you say you can find the book there. All right. And that guy from Texas said, did you say Aubrey O'Day? No, not Aubrey. Audra.
Yeah, if you're looking for that book,
Day.
did you go to half.com?
I just put it in Google and then I went to Amazon and I saw it for $100 million. I was like, what's wrong with these people? But anyway, and Amoni says, I love a lot of movies like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, but I think it's a shame that it took Denzel to be the second person to ever win an Emmy, or you mean an Oscar or an Emmy?
Yeah, he never won an Emmy, Oscar.
Like, really, why? And Dennis, how you doing? He says Calvin Lockhart played Silky Slim. Yes, that's why it was taking me a minute. It's like, oh, he didn't play Biggie Small, because that was Nicholas Harold Nicholas. He played that character. Okay, so yeah. Thank you for that. And Marty says, though he was a wonderful actor, very handsome, even into the bitter and end, many white women would say they only liked him because he could just be a sexual fantasy, but they never respected him. Unfortunately, I think that Sidney got, pretty good amount of respect. I'm sure he had to fight for what he did get. But yeah, I mean, that was new, right? It was new. And that guy from Texas says, what y'all know about Matlock?
Oh, what I know about Matlock. See, what you did was the killer. And you walked over to this place over here. And then you got him. And that's how you murdered him. Andy Griffith, loved it. And see, and the thing is, if you guys, there's a free app you could watch. It's called Pluto TV, and a lot of those shows are on Pluto TV, and that's why. Tubi, and that's why I got rid of my cable, because I like those shows. What was a good thing about those shows? They all had a message at the end of them, or somewhere in it there was a message.
Yeah. And Thunder says, Quincy, no, Kojak was a show, and Columbo.
Who loves you, baby?
I remember all those shows, but I also remember that I couldn't really watch them because it was past my bedtime as a small child. I couldn't have been to more than 4 or 5.
What those came on at 9, you had to be to bed by 8.
Yeah, so I didn't. I watched a few of them, like the Rocker Files. I'll tell you one thing. And I see Charles, you say everybody watch Quincy watching Rocker Files. And a story about the Rocker Files is I was probably 4 or 5, maybe 6, maybe 5. And I was supposed to be in the bed. And my mom and dad, they were watching the Rocker Files. And as I'm peeking into the room, I see the part where somebody's hand is getting mauled by. No, Donovan, I didn't see anything you were going to say I saw. So I saw a part where the dog was mauling his hand and he was screaming for dear life. And I was just freaked out as a child. And I never forgot the Rocker Files simply because I was being disobedient. and not going to bed, and I just happened to see that horrible scene.
Yeah, how many of you guys know in the Rockford Files, James Garner did most of his driving stunts. He did most of the stunts in the show, but especially the driving because he was a semi-pro car driver on the side.
Mm-hmm. And Anastasia says, "Man, we all know Quincy, Kojak, and Matlock Beretta."
Beretta.
I mean, by the way, where is Beretta?
Keeping his head low, unlike OJ.
Ain't Beretta locked up doing some time?
No, he got acquitted.
Did he?
Yeah, he got acquitted. He got acquitted. Yes, he got acquitted, and he's raising his daughter and stuff like that. And how many of you guys know Beretta was a Little Rascal?
Mm-hmm.
He was a Little Rascal.
He got to be up there by now.
Yeah.
But I say Quincy because of, I mean, that's just, you never hear people really talk about Quincy, but my mama watched Quincy faithfully.
What was the best 70s show intro?
The Love Boat.
No, well, yeah, that was a good one too, but it was a flute.
Love American Style.
No, it was a flute. Barnaby Jones.
I almost got that. I almost had it.
Barnaby Jones. That was it's a haunting. Night Court. That was 80s.
Oh no, another iconic song had a flute in the 70s. Mancini, what's his first name?
Henry Mancini.
He conducted the song. One of the most iconic show themes ever. Anybody can get that.
Okay.
Shut up, Donovan. You think you got it? Come on.
No, I'm gonna think about it.
It's a flute, and it's one of the most iconic theme songs ever. Don't Google it. I can see in your glasses if you Google it. I want to see if anybody could get that. All right, so let's see here. Let's move on. And I need to say not Matlock. And Charles says, I think the two greatest voices of Hollywood was James Earl Jones and Sidney Poitier. I would agree with you. And Martin says, really, can you tell us more about the movie Sexy Donovan? Good evening. I never heard of it. What about that movie, Donovan, made you feel that it was super racist? A lot of these movies are. And that guy from Texas just says, I have Hulu. And Thunder says, Agnes and Gertrude love Perry Mason. And our favorite together is the movie Shane. Damn. I thought you was going to say it was like a talkie movie or something. Where before they had sound.
Paul Robeson, one of the old ones. Emperor Jones, Paul Robeson.
What's the name of that movie? It was a horror movie, and it was a shadow, and it was a spook, and he was. And Tawana says, Harold Nicholas played Little Seymour. Okay, well, we gonna get the characters right, but you know, because you got all the movies and all of that, so thank you. And that guy from Texas says, rip to my grandfather. Yes, indeed. He said he loved to watch Bonanza. Yeah, I've watched a few Bonanza episodes. And Steve, how you doing? He says, hello, Demetria, Kate, and Donovan. He says the McMichaels and Rhodey Bryant can kiss my black ass. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were sentenced on the federal level to life. So basically, they're never getting out.
No, wait. Federally, have they? I don't think they've gone to trial yet with the federal yet.
They pled guilty. So they just went and pled guilty. Yeah, a couple days ago, they pled guilty. The one that did the shooting,
the father and the son are getting life, no parole, and Roddy.
No, this one is getting no parole. The one that did the shooting, and then the other two are like with the possibility.
No. Listen to what you just said. The one that did the shooting gets parole?
No, I mean he's getting life with no parole.
Yeah. The one that camera, he'll be eligible for parole somewhere down the road.
I mean, they're all 100,000 years old already. So, and then plus they got sentenced on the, bless you, local level, state level, I guess. And Anastasia says, Benny Hill, East Enders, Dark Shadows. Yes.
Classic. Benny. And how long was Benny Hill on the air? over
I
20
know we
years.
was, you know damn well we
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to be watching no Benny Hill, but we would sneak and watch Benny Hill. Okay.
Yeah, that should be the theme song for the Capitol and the rioters and the
Yeah.
insurrectionists.
And that guy from Texas said, "Good times." Nope, it was not good times. And Steve says, "My mama gave me a colonizer TV show middle name, uh, Anton. Well, what's your middle name? What's your middle name?" And then she said, "Sanford and Son." Nope, it wasn't Sanford and Son either. Thunder says, "The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly." That was what, Clint Eastwood. But
Yeah,
no, this was like
was it a
it was.
TV series?
Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't that, and it wasn't MASH. Was not MASH. Nope, it was. It wasn't MASH. I was just making sure I'm right. And Jafia, how you doing? It says, "Hello, everybody." And Jeremy, how you doing? It says, "Yes, Barney Miller had one of the best theme songs with that bass line." And Charles says, "Everybody got acquitted rather. I think he meant, except for OJ Beretta." He said, "Don't forget, oh boy, my heart to heart. Do you know him in The King of New York killed his wife talking about she fell off the boat?" Oh, you talking about
Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood. Yeah.
So it wasn't his wife, it was Robert
Wagner's wife.
Wagner's wife. And so they said it was some sort of a love triangle. Maybe Robert found out that Natalie was messing with Christopher Walken and somehow she got off the boat, right? So they're saying,
even though she was deathly scared of water, which doesn't
Right.
make any sense to me. If you're deathly scared of water, why would you even own a boat?
At night. So they said between Christopher Walken and Robert Wagner, one of them is riding dirty. And Thunder says David Carradine is Kung Fu. Yes, indeed. And
In Kung Fu, was that the one with the flute?
No.
Okay.
Now y'all ain't gonna get it. I'm telling you, I got y'all. Where is Al at? Where is Al? Because I bet you Al would get it. All right, so let's see here. And Charles says, "Barnaby Jones, I thought you were coming for my three sons."
Right.
No. Thunder says the movies I like to watch are the Technicolor. Now you know that's old. Yeah. You cracked me up. And Moni says, Demetra, I can't think of the movie Donovan made know of. The name Sidney Poitier played a doctor, and they kept calling him the standard N-word, with Caucasians stating that they didn't want him. Oh gosh, I just read about that too. It was I can't think of it, but I know what you're talking about. And Jafai says Golden Girl song I think is the most popular. Yeah, it's pretty popular, but it wasn't the song that I'm talking about. And
what was it? A Warm December, Moni? Is that the movie? A Warm December? I don't know.
I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that. And Steve says, McGarrett, what a goddamn shame. So that's
Hawaii 5-0. The great thing about Hawaii 5-0 was that that drum solo as it goes down. You know, awesome stuff.
Hold on a second.
That guy from Texas says one of the guys from Barney Miller passed away recently. He was about 100 years old. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see.
And we're on Don Bin. He says, I remember all of them shows back when TV had real content, not this crap of today. Yeah, those shows were specifically written to have a message in them.
Okay, so let me finish reading. And Anastasia says, Night Court had one of the best beat drops. It was good. And Steve said, Al at the Capitol. No, I don't think he is. Gilbert says, good evening, Demetra and Donovan. And Jafia says, the Jefferson moving on up. Thunder says, does anyone know the actual name of the theme song for the TV show MASH? Suicide is Painless. Yes, that's the actual name. Okay.
Wow.
And Tawana, ding, 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 ding. She got it. It's Taxi.
Wait. Oh, yeah. But that was 80s. That was in the 80s.
Oh, it wasn't in the later part of the 70s?
No, it was in the 80s.
Okay.
No, you're right. It was the later part of the 70s. Yeah, because Danny DeVito, the doc from whatever his name is, a lot of the great stars were in that series.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So anyway, I had to block some of these spam people. All right. So yes, you got it. And Martin says Calvin Lockhart was another sexy, handsome man. All of the great ones, they always pass away sometimes beforehand. And I say, may God have mercy on Sidney Poitier, very soul. Thank you for the tribute. Yes, indeed. And Gilvetta, what's going on? You say, guess who's coming to dinner? And Steve says, what about the theme song from WKRP in Cincinnati?
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
a good one too.
that was a good one as well.
Wait. No, if you're going to say KRP in Cincinnati, you guys that are of our age, you cannot do it with "Welcome Back."
Yes.
That was the smooth the way it just came in.
Mhm.
Welcome back, Carter. That was an awesome one.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of good songs out there. All right, so we are about an hour in. What else do y'all want to talk about? Because we could talk about TV shows all day long if y'all want to. Not that I watch a lot of TV, but
Well, not anymore. But when you were little coming up, you
when
watched,
I was
your
little,
fair
but
share.
you know what though? Even when I was little, I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of TV. We had to, because we were busy as kids. My parents had us in sports and
Yeah, you had a lot of time to watch TV. Yeah.
all kind of stuff. So when we did watch TV, it was like, okay, it was really like Saturdays. But then Saturdays, especially when we got to be teenagers, it was like, okay, keep Soul Train on. We're going to watch that. We're going to clean this house. Do what we got to do so we can get out
Watch
and
Soul
about.
Train. Yeah, watch Soul Train. When Soul Train's over, go get dressed, go to the mall to go hang with our friends.
And that's after you did the lawn and the housework, okay? You was not going nowhere until your housework was done every Saturday, which is kind of why I get in the habit of cleaning the house every Saturday, if not early Sunday morning. I'm talking about like clean it, because that's
that's when you do the deep cleaning. Yeah, you have to do the more deep clean instead of the everyday top cleaning.
Yep. And the yard. Those were the days to do it. And if you didn't do it, ooh, I feel sorry for you. And I used to say, yes. What about Cheers? Yeah. Everybody knows your name. That was a pretty iconic one.
It's iconic, but very white.
Yeah. But the music, see the theme songs in those sitcoms back then, very very memorable. How I can say that, right? Very, very memorable. And Steve says, what about the theme from WKRP in Cincinnati? WKRP in Cincinnati. I know I kind of jacked that up because I hardly remember.
That soulfulness you put in jacks it up. Yeah.
Oh, because it was really mayonnaise-y. Is that what you're saying? And the guy from Texas says they play a lot of 70 shows on Antenna TV. Yeah. So I have those on the streaming service. I have no, I don't think I have Antenna, but I have Pluto, Tubi, Peacock, and all.
Well, everybody's got Me TV, Memorable Entertainment.
Yeah, but I really don't have a lot of time to watch TV. By the time I get to watch TV, it's nighttime,
and you're going to bed.
You know it, brother. Let me tell y'all something. I'm one of those people that if I'm bored, like when sometimes even before the sun goes down, I'm like, why not go to bed? Because I just really don't have anything else to do. My mind can't get fixed to watch TV. So I'm just like, well, good night.
Yeah, I'm totally opposite. I believe that you have plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. So I get about 4 hours of sleep a night.
Well, I didn't get none last night due to that damn tornado warning. All right, so let's see here. Thunder says, when you said flute, I just knew it had to be the theme song for Kung Fu. So you guys remember how it went. How did the song for Kung Fu go?
I got it on the tip of my tongue, but I can't get it in a format. But yeah, it was a you knew what was coming on.
And Jeremy, yes, the Hill Street Blues theme song. That was a good one too. That was a good one. And Anastasia says, and what's happening? Yeah, that was pretty iconic. And Sunlight says, Murder, She Wrote. Yeah, Cagney and Lacey, Magnum PI, nostalgic. Yes, indeed. I liked the Love Boat. I know a lot of people.
One just popped in my head. You guys will never get this one. Okay, it's very white. It's kind of like the Love Boat. It's very white.
Love American Style?
No, it happened in the 80s. Believe it or not, I'm walking on it.
I never thought it could be
so free. Flying away. That's the key.
Yeah.
Greatest American hero.
I know the show, but I was trying to get the song. Yeah, that was pretty iconic. Yeah.
Yes.
Shoot, you're gonna make me go watch some TV. Let me stop lying. And then I said, what about the PJ's theme song? Well, I don't know. I don't remember the theme song, but I know that. Well, I'll let Donovan get it. He should know who sang one of the songs.
One of the songs I know was by my cousin Raphael Sadiq.
And Q-Tip.
Yeah,
Yes,
Q-Tip,
get
right.
involved.
Get
Yeah.
involved, yeah. I don't mind getting involved. Yeah.
And Charles says, I think the greatest theme song ever is Mission Impossible, hands
Oh,
down.
oh my gosh, yes. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Let me think on that.
I mean,
Well,
you
what
just
about
know it
any of the
immediately. You know
what
it
about any of
immediately.
the James Bond, theme?
Well, yeah, but that's a movie.
Okay. And that guy from Texas says, did anyone see Joe Biden address the nation? Yes.
What did he
I was like,
say? Nothing.
he was reading, and it was like,
Do you really
yeah.
have to read something that you should be saying that's just common sense from your heart?
Well, most of them read a teleprompter, but it was just like, okay, like, come on, man, y'all just propping this dude up at this point. You know what I mean? Then he tried to take a staunch approach toward the end. You know, like the fireworks show, and they put all the fireworks at the end. That's to me, I was just like, okay, man, whatever.
Yeah, but why would he wait over a year to make a speech like that? Shouldn't he have made a speech the minute he became president? Shouldn't he have done that?
And they ain't gonna do nothing about it. You know,
They're waiting for the clock to run out. Once that clock runs out, that's it. Did you guys see the speech with Garland, the Attorney General? Oh, it's going to take as long as it takes. Dude, you're only in office so long. Once the other party comes in, they can shut the whole damn thing down. These people are delusional, and this is what they do. They do it to us as Black people. Oh, get us in office. We'll do this. Oh, we lost the House. See, they're obstructing, but you get us back in there. Oh, we ran out of time. This is what they do. They run the clock out.
And Anastasia says, can we talk about the Georgia Voting Alliance telling Kamala and Biden not to come to Georgia? I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, I could kind of talk a little bit about that. Yes. They didn't really tell them not to come. They said that if you're not going to be saying anything, don't come. So it's still up in the air if they're going to make an appearance, because, they're going to base their butter biscuits with that extra butter and cheese. And then the Negroes are going to fall in line like it's going to mean something anyway. Because if Biden and Kamala, how can they come down to Georgia right now and promise anything when they went to Georgia and said, if you give us the House, we'll get rid of qualified immunity. Get Ralph Warnock and this other guy elected. Qualified immunity is gone. How can they show their face in Georgia now after doing absolutely nothing and still doing nothing?
Good point, brother. And Charles says, do you think any actors and actresses of this time have picked up the mantle from Sidney Poitier? I think Denzel is pretty close. Denzel is pretty close because I know that he has a lot of standards, and then one of them is to say that he would never kiss a white woman on camera. It says, out of respect to his wife or anybody, I guess he wouldn't do it. So I think Denzel is pretty close.
Wait. Denzel said that?
Yeah.
Okay, he won't kiss a white woman, but have you seen the movie Ricochet where they had the white woman on top of him humping him to death?
I can't recall.
With John Lithgow?
I think it really has something to do with his mouth type of thing. Okay. Like, clearly he wasn't screwing her for real, right?
Yeah, no, but the depiction of it had this white woman on him, and you're trying to set him up and blackmail him in the movie. It was really crazy.
And let's see, and Steve says, ooh, everybody was kung fu fighting. Everybody was fast as lightning. And Jeremy says, greatest American hero. Yes, I knew this the movie, the show, but I was trying to think of the words. Back in the day, I knew all the words to the show. And Sunlight says, bosom buddies. That was with
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking of Robin Williams, but that was Mork and Mindy. How did he do his hands for Mork and Mindy? Was it Nano or something?
Almost like the Vulcan greeting.
Yeah, that's why I was getting confused. And the guy from Texas says, did anyone see Joe? No, I read that already. And Thunder says the Donna Reed show. Ooh, you took it way back. He says, My Three Sons, Dick Van Dyke, Mr. Ed, Bewitched, Mary Tyler Moore, The Monsters, and my favorite, I Love Lucy.
Now, here's the thing about that, Thunder. Do you realize you named most of the shows that you named there came out of Desilu Studios, which was owned by I Love Lucy and Desi Arnaz?
Good point. My Three Sons.
And then Fred McMurray. Do you guys know he was known as the most shrewdest actor in Hollywood during that time? I mean, this guy would bring his lunch. He did everything to save a nickel.
Yes, indeed. All right, let me get to these other comments. Let's see here. And Jeremy says Get Smart was another good theme song.
How many of you guys know Get Smart was produced by who? The same guy that directed Blazing Saddles.
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
Okay.
Mel Brooks production. Yes.
Blazing Saddles. Now that's pretty iconic right there. Okay. And what's the other one in the History of the World?
History of the World. Yes, that was excellent.
Remember when
and he did Spaceballs, and he did Spaceballs as well. So
did he have, was it 15 commandments or 20, and he dropped them?
He dropped it. He's 10. He's 10.
What's the
a Jewish man making fun of Christianity?
Where was the one he says the voodoo that you do?
That was Blazing Saddles with Harvey Korman. Go out and do the voodoo that you do. Badges? We don't need no stinking badges. Remember, and one of my favorite parts of Blazing Saddles is when they're beating up the old white woman.
Oh,
Have you ever seen such cruelty? Ow! Ooh!
Oh. And Anastasia says, in the heat of the night show, in the heat of the night.
And you know, when a show is a movie, it's very hard for it to translate into TV. And The Heat of the Night was one of the more successful shows that actually transferred to the TV and ran for, I think, 5 or 6 seasons. I think it was.
And then he died, or he drug overdose or committed suicide, one of the two.
Yeah, well, he had some issues or something.
And Anais says the Shaft theme song, theme hits hard. Yes, indeed. He also say Biden is half dead. It appears that way. And Tawana says family theme. You know what? I was thinking of that. Family Ties theme song by Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams. What will we do, baby?
That was a good one. Wait, what was the other one with Sybil Shepherd and Bruce
Moonlighting.
Willis? Moonlighting.
Yes, that was Al Jarreau.
Al Jarreau. Some come by night.
Yes.
Some come by day.
Man, that was some good ass TV. Y'all about to make me miss my mama. And Moni says, speaking of Beretta, I did not know, Demetra, that the cockatoo bird was a cockatoo, always called it Beretta bird. But what do you know when you're just a kid? Movies of 70s was fun. Yeah. From what we could tell, right? And Gilberto says, we don't want them here. So you're talking about Joe Biden and Kamala. Yeah, because their numbers aren't doing very well.
Well, it's not even that. How do you go back to the very people that you said if you did? I mean, how do you show your face and say, hey, I don't have anything for you. I know I promised you something, but I'm back here asking you to do it again.
Yeah, let me lie to you again. And Anastasia says a lot of people think it's a versus game. It's a versus game versus a scrimmage. They are all on the same team. It's a scrimmage. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they're all the same. Like I said, have you guys remember the game Pong? Remember when Pong came out? It was like this big old thing. Now, here's the thing. Think of black people as the ball in Pong. It's a basic tennis game. Boop, boop. As long as I keep you right here to where you're nothing and 70% of you guys are going to be poor and you won't make it, that's the whole thing. Republicans, Democrats, as long as we keep you guys in the poor zone, life is good for us.
Malcolm called us political footballs. And Moni says Barnaby Jones was, I just said that Donovan used to be the smack. I love that. And I love this one character. I can't think of his name. He used to be in a lot of Barnaby Jones movies and old Westerns. And Gilberto says, Georgia, do not want Biden or Kamala here. Well, hopefully they heard you loud and clear.
Since we're talking about shows in the Barnaby Jones era, there is a actor. He was a World War II pilot. He has a very distinctive voice, and he did a lot of voice characterizations. He had his own show. He was a very big man.
And
you guys remember the show? You guys, I'll give you a hint. Remember the show Jake and the Fat Man? Mm-hmm. What show was Robert Conrad on before he did Jake and the Fat Man? Very popular show.
I'm gonna leave that to the comment section. Wilbur, how you
Cannon.
doing? Who?
Remember Cannon?
Sorta.
He came on like right after Barnaby Jones or just before Barnaby Jones.
Okay. And Wilbur, you say, I'm sick of all these politicians on both sides. That makes two of us. And that guy from Texas, he say facts. And Sunlight says, let us have Denzel Donovan. Laugh out loud.
You guys could have Denzel. Matter of fact, when I was in acting in college, I was known as the broke Denzel.
I thought it was the low budget Denzel.
Yeah, I was a low budget city stage and city actor. And how many of you guys know Denzel Washington with Samuel Jackson and with a lot of your stars that you're seeing today starred originally in a soldier's play. And he translated it into the movie.
And Thunder says, when I heard the theme song for In the Heat of the Night was the song that let me know it was bedtime.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Right. Is it time to take your little self to bed? And Anastasia says, watch the NSC UFOT interview. Okay. Are you familiar with that, Donovan? And Charles says, do you see where Joe Biden's store is trying to talk real serious? He sounds like he's about to go any second. Yeah, I mean, that's what when I was watching it the other day, I was like, and they just gonna keep propping this man up here, huh? Okay. Thunder says, and Golden Harvest Films came on Saturdays. We called it Kung Fu Theater. I remember that.
Remember after Soul Train, Kung Fu Theater would come on out here in California, Southern California.
Yeah, me and my brother would watch Kung Fu Theater on Saturdays. And then I said Golden Girls theme, of course. You get that just is up there, right? Especially the rendition of the brother who put his own little spin on it. And JJ says, I remember Julia Roberts wanted to have a kissing scene with Denzel. Yeah. And I think that's right around the time when he was like, she's president of his fan club too, but it was just not something he, wanted to do. And oh yeah, the Waltons theme song, man. My mom
and I remember my mom would watch that stuff, and why would Black people give a damn about poor white folks in the Depression era? I never understood.
It was TV, it was TV, like Little House on the Prairie. It was TV, and TV was, I guess, good back then. I don't know. And let's see here. And Moni say, I'm so very proud of you, Dimitri and Donovan, for giving a wonderful actor that's well deserved. They're props tired of people can give others people their props, but never the Black community. Why? Well, I do. I try to do it as much as I can. And the Sunlight says, my three sons reminded me of the Brady Bunch. Yeah, I can see that. And Thunder, thank you so much for the donation. We love and appreciate you for that.
And real quick, Sunlight or anybody out there, who was the last surviving cast member of Gilligan's Island?
Marianne Ginger.
She's the last surviving.
Because Marianne died and actually
2 years ago.
Back. Yeah. 2 years ago. I'm about to say, I know damn well it ain't the professor or the
Gilligan,
the millionaire.
He was one of the first to die. Thurston Howard.
Yeah. And Pioneer, what's going on with you? Says, good evening, beautiful queen and king. I'm late, but I'm here. Yes, hey. You are. And Anastasia says, where are all the white women at? It's good to be long.
Yes. A quote from Blazing Saddles. Where the white women at?
Right. And he was bold with it too.
Lady, you're making a spectacle of yourself. Is it what they say about you people being gifted? Oh, it's true. It's true. The great Madeline Kahn. She was such a great actress.
Yes. What was an iconic movie that she played in?
She was Frankenstein. Frankenstein. I forgot the name of that one. That was a Mel Brooks production as well.
It's another one. I want to say it was a black and white movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a kid star in there. Was it black and white? I don't know if it was black and white, but she played in this movie with, who was the actor? Ryan O'Neal.
Oh, okay. Wasn't that the Peyton Place? No, wasn't Peyton Police.
I know Tawana gonna get it.
Yeah, Tawana's gonna get it.
Tawana
Bring it
gonna
up,
get
girl.
it. And you said good evening, Pioneer. Yes, indeed. And the guy from Texas, Charlie's Angels, had the best theme song. That was pretty good.
Yep.
And Anastasia says it's good to be king.
Yes.
And you also say he died of AIDS. And who
Well,
was that?
he's talking about Howard Rollins Jr.
Oh,
It was
really?
it was AIDS complications. He had fluid and thing because he was on drugs and confused and supposedly.
I didn't know. I just thought it was like a drug overdose. Wow.
Yeah.
Moonlighting. Yes, that was that. I like Moonlighting. That was Bruce Willis and
Sybil Shepherd.
Sybil Shepherd. And Mona says, so you talk to the Pioneer. And Charles says, you guys are my age, so I don't know why you didn't say or mention Happy Days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those are great, epic. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wait. If we're going to go with that, then you got to go with the great whistle theme of all times. The Andy Griffith Show.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, the Laverne and Shirley theme song. That was a classic.
Wait. Three's Company. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Come and knock on my door.
I'm trying to think of the Laverne and Shirley one.
Gamada. I've incorporate. We're gonna make it.
Yeah, because I was getting confused with the Mary Tyler
Moore, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna make it after all.
And let's see here. And it says, like sand through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. Soap opera theme, yes. That was my grandmama stuff right there. And that guy from Texas says, I never knew that was Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams. Yes.
And indeed. Johnny Mathis is still alive. A lot of people think Johnny Mathis is dead, but he's still alive.
And Denise Williams is still alive too.
Yeah. I remember she had that bad fall a few years back.
Oh,
she fell off the stage and stuff. It was real bad.
And Steve, you say Biden Harris kick out my ass or kiss.
Yeah.
Clarify. And I says that young and young. I think you mean Young and the Restless. Maybe is what we're trying to say. Yep. And Thunder says Blazing Saddles, History of the World, high anxiety with the way society is now. They will never be able to remake these great classics. You ain't lying. Oh my God.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but these movies were so good. And they were shot and written so well. I got a book on the Twilight Zone where it talks about the writing in it. Why is it? I don't care how old I get. I will sit and watch the Twilight Zone marathon every New Year's Eve, and until into the New Year's Day, because the messages are still so poignant to this very day.
Yep, I love the Twilight Zone as well. And Marty says, I really love to see Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby and John Amos play in a few movies together. They all three were you have a whole bunch of emojis funny that all marry white women except for Cosby.
Well, Moni, actually, they did star in which way? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's Do It Again together. They all starred in that movie together. Kansas City, Matt. Denise, what's her name? Denise Nicholas? The light-skinned black girl?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that was her name, though.
Yeah, Denise Nichols. Denise Nichols was her name. She did a very, very good job in that movie. And there was a lot of the female black stars that Sidney opened the door for a lot of these actors.
Pioneer says, if you pay close attention, Biden didn't really promise black folks anything anyway. He only promised what was that he wasn't going to be another Trump. It was basically a vote against Trump. Yep.
Well, actually, he didn't promise black people anything specifically, but he did promise to get rid of student debt, which would also black women are the most heavily indebted to the financial Department of Education. So that would have helped black women exclusively if he would have done what he said he was going to do, and he didn't do it.
And Stevie says Einstein.
Yeah, Young Einstein was the movie.
Okay.
Madeline.
Oh, no, but that ain't the one, though. That ain't the one.
Okay.
But you talking about you said Frankenstein, but it is called Young.
Young Frankenstein. Yeah.
That was with
Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why his name slipped my mind. And Sunlight says yes, Pete from A Soldier Story. So you like Pete from A Soldier Story?
Yeah.
And Anastasia says Dude, shame the devil and tell the truth. You weren't no broke Denzel, maybe a broke Samuel L. Jackson, but not
No,
Denzel.
I wasn't cursing in my productions. I couldn't have been a Samuel. God damn it.
And he says Biden is dying. Yeah, he may be. Pioneer says, I love the soldier story. Not only did it break out stars like Robert Townsend and Denzel, but also Adolph Caesar before The Color Purple.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my mother's favorite movies. Was
Yeah, I actually have the playbook, the original playbook, and Adolph Caesar also adapted over. The only two people that were different in the movie was Howard Rollins' role that was recast, and the white captain. That guy was recast. But everybody else all came from the play and the production, just like A Streetcar Named Desire. Most of the cast members came over except for Vivian Leigh. She was the only one that didn't come from the play.
Howard Rollins was a fine. Let me get into my Moni's voice. He was a fine. Oh, handsome,
Yes.
dark, silky milk chocolate brother.
Mm-hmm.
How do Moni?
Yeah, and you got to remember, he did a movie called with James. What's his name? James. He was a great actor. I forgot the thing, but he did this last movie with this guy, and everybody thought Howard Rollins would be the next Sidney Poitier to get that Oscar. Everybody thought this was the guy that was going to go on and do thing, and then Denzel kind of surpassed him. Ragtime. Yeah, Howard Rollins did Ragtime with James Cagney. That's who it was.
And the guy from Texas says, MASH was my bedtime show. Yep, mine too.
Mm-hmm.
And Don says, was it Heart to Heart? Nope. It wasn't Heart to Heart, but that was a good TV series. And Anastasia says, that's her name. Oh. Okay. Nancy Foot is, I know I told it up, is the leader of the New Georgia Project Alliance that told them to kick rocks. God, wow. I have to look her up. I haven't heard anything about it. Pioneer says, I wasn't a big family. About the.
I think he said. I think he meant fan probably.
Oh, I wasn't a big fan about the Waltons' Little House on the Prairie. Was my show. Laugh out loud. Couldn't wait to get home from school and watch it. Yeah, I watched a lot of Little House on the Prairie too.
I like Little House on the Prairie when who's that little blonde mean girl? She's always fuck with Laura.
Nellie.
Yeah, Nellie. She always took the show. Nellie's mom. They always took the show for me.
Person. And somebody says Gigi.
Gigi. The movie Gigi. Is that what you're talking about with Madeline Kahn? Gigi?
Oh, no. Wasn't that. No, it wasn't that. And the Pioneer says MASH was my bedtime show. Also laugh out loud because putting it on would put me straight to sleep. Laugh out loud. And JD says Denzel was broke, but his wife was the main star and helped Denzel with his acting career. Yeah. And that is true.
Yeah, she's the one that kept encouraging him. Yeah, kept encouraging him.
That's why you got to dance with Who Brought You. Stop jumping ship, and she held him down, and the rest is history. And Marty says, I'm glad that at the end of the day, the Creeps finally was sentenced for poor Ahmad. But the one that lied and acted as though he was trying to help is the one that to be paroled after 30 years. Well, hell,
yeah, Roddy. Yeah. Remember, at first it was like he's too dumb to be persecuted.
Well, kind of, sort of, because he told it all. He got up there and just told it. He thought he was, helping, but he wasn't. And that guy from Texas says Gilligan. Yeah. Gilligan Island. And then Jeremy saved Frankenstein. Nope, it wasn't that. So I was super happy about that. And I was even more happy that Ahmad's mother didn't talk about all the forgiveness crap. She stuck to it. I stuck it to him, and she stood up like a peer hero, and I'm sad for her loss. Yes, indeed. Pioneer says, Miss K, don't be playing with and twirling your hair around while welcoming me. You don't know what kind of beast it may be unleashed.
Well, Pioneer, I've been talking to Demetria about getting us our likes up and stuff, so she has to start turning up.
Y'all see that shoulder, don't you? I'm just kidding. Hey, listen, y'all see that collarbone coming through? Y'all see that collarbone? Yes, honey. Yes.
That means you're losing too much weight.
No, it means that I'm losing enough where you can see my collarbones again. Now, I don't want to get emaciated, but still, I got a little meat on me still. But anyway, didn't mean to turn you on. JJ says Irene Carroll from Fame. Yes. Now that was an iconic theme song is Fame. And Thunder says the theme song from Chips. Yes. We used to pretend we had motorcycles. We watched Chips too. And Don says the Bionic Man. What y'all know about the Bionic Man and the Bionic Lady?
Bionic Woman.
Bionic Woman.
Lindsay Wagner. Guess how many of you guys know who the Bionic Girl was? She's a major star right now.
I don't know, but it was called the $6 Million Man. That was the name of. Was that what they called him?
Yeah, it was Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man. Yes. But if you guys could name, yeah. Remember the $6 Million Man versus Bigfoot? Oh, that was an iconic episode.
That's when, as they said on Happy Days, that's when they jumped the shark. Okay.
Well, wait. I remember waiting up on a Sunday night, and remember that robot machine that would come after Steve Austin, and he couldn't beat it.
Yeah.
And had him by the arm, was about to rip his arm off. It was, man, I used to just, it was a bad thing. But there was a Bionic Girl, and it was trying to be a spinoff, and it came on, I think, the $6 Million Man episode. She is a major Academy Award winning actor right now.
Do tell.
Have you guys heard of Sandra Bullock?
Was that her for real?
She was the Bionic Girl. Absolutely.
Okay. And Moni says Night Court had a cool, little jazzy tune to it. And Moonlighting was another one. I love the theme sung by Al Jarreau. Yes, indeed. Happy, wonderful New Year to you, Demetri and Donovan. And same to you. Yes, Night Court was pretty cool. Sunlight said, yes, that's it. And Thunder says 227. That's my mama. I love me some 227. And JJ says Maud was a good intro as well. And Hollywood 2000, how are you doing? You're laughing. And JJ said the Jeffersons. Now that goes without saying, right? How iconic it was. And the guy from Texas says we need a movie about Jean Michael Basquiat ASAP. Yeah, you know what the crazy part is? A lot of people don't even realize, I guess, that he died in the 80s. You know, because you hear a lot about it now. Of course, people were saying that Jay-Z is trying to morph into him. I guess you can kind of see that. But yeah, he died in the 80s, very young. And the Pioneer says, I love Laverne and Shirley theme song. Shamiel. Yeah. What was the name of that the brewing company they worked for?
The Milwaukee Brewing Company?
Yeah, but it says something Incorporated. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. See, something Incorporated. There you go.
See, and that's where I first tried milk and Pepsi together because of that show.
You ain't lying, same here. And it wasn't bad. And he says Incorporated. Laugh out loud. Later on, I researched what a Shemizel was and found some interesting results.
That isn't the no, never mind. I'm not going to go there right now.
Don says my mother went to high school with Johnny Mathis. Okay, wow. And the Pioneer says one of the best theme songs was that from Good Times. Oh yeah, of course.
So wait, so Don, I guess it's over. The kids are gone.
It's over.
Yes. We had to sing our song. You know, he sang so smoothly. It was like effortless. You know, effortless.
But who did he sing that with?
Denise Williams.
Yes, indeed. And Moni says, Demetri, truth be told, the Pioneers correct Technicolor movies. And that was actually Thunder. Movies are way better than their coloring was a lot more enriched than your average movies of today. And you can see more color.
Everybody now has high definition TVs. I hate watching like a lot of the old shows like Mission Impossible or Star Trek, because some of the stars that wore toupees or what they call what do they call them? Sets or whatever they call them. They were like
toupee is what I know it to be.
Yeah, but there's a technical thing in the entertainment industry. They call it a different word. But like I'll watch it and you can see like the makeup and you can see like the thing peeling off the side because your TV is so high def and you can see where the piece is like planted on top of the guy's head and it's crazy.
And Steve says, laugh out loud, did they ever kill that monster sitting on the airplane wing in the Twilight Zone?
Hey, how many of you guys saw recently when William Shatner went up to space? They did a meme where that monster was out there. They said, this is what William Shatner saw.
Pioneer, Brother Don, you ain't lying. I love the Twilight Zone and can watch it all day and night, all night and day. You're right. It was excellent written. Rod Serling was a great host. Yeah, my mom loved that show too. My mom actually watched a lot of TV. And
wait. And speaking of Rod Serling, he did 5-6 years of the Twilight Zone. Then he went on to do Night Gallery. And that had a theme song that was kind of spooky.
I'm gonna get to these comments because I see them a little bit behind. And Thunder says, but on a serious note, for a moment, that tornado warning and storm was intense last night, and I hope you have everything ready for the winter storm if it comes back this year. Yes, I am in preparation, but yeah, you see, a lot of people who live here in Texas, Houston, wherever, they're like, oh, that's nothing. But to me, it is something because it was kind of scary. I was thinking because they kept saying that, okay, so the warning was the last to like 11:45. Then it was like, nope, it's going to keep going. It's going to pass your area. It was supposed to pass here at 12:06. And so I'm like, oh my God, is this how I'm going to go out?
Get your ass back here to California.
And then, of course, nothing, which was good, but it was scary. But yeah, I am getting prepared. And I hope you guys all are too, because it's supposed to be pretty intense. So anyway, and Tawana says, what's up, Doc? Oh, man. He says, I knew she was going to get it. Says, is a 1972 and Paper Moon 1973, Madeline Kahn and Ryan O'Neal. I knew she was going to get it. Paper Moon with, what was it? It wasn't Jodie Foster. It was his daughter. What's his daughter's name? Ryan O'Neal's daughter.
Tatum O'Neal.
Tatum O'Neal. Yes. A great movie. And Moni says TV of the 1940s through the 1970s was the best. Once it started getting into the 80s, everything started just taking off on the sex level. Why? I don't know. Well, I don't know why.
You got to remember the 1970s was the free love thing. So guess who's writing and taking over Hollywood at that time? The baby boomers. That's why this country's in the toilet right now.
Yes, indeed. And hi, Ronald. How are you? Says Alfred Hitchcock. Yes, indeed. My mom loves some Alfred Hitchcock. And Sunlight says CJ in a Soldier Story, low down, dirty shame. Laugh out loud.
Sunlight. CJ was my brother. Farmer's Dust. That's how I got up so high. Yeah, that's my brother. This country strong.
Yeah. Marty says, I think the coolest little song I like is from Maude. And I like Esther Roll when she played Maude's maid. And Henry was James. If they could only have made Henry when he got to Good Times still a fireman. Yeah. And Pioneer says Adolph Caesar played the hell out of that role. Told the one brother, you see, the black race can't afford you no more. Laugh out loud. Kept calling him Geechee and had him put in jail. Yes, that is an iconic movie.
Who the hell gave you the right to judge?
Yeah.
Who could be fit to be a Negro and not a Negro? Sergeant, get these men out of here.
And then when that tear came rolling down his beautiful brown chocolate face, whew, and then when he put them sunglasses on, when he took off in the Jeep, I was like, I know I'm too young to be having these type of emotions.
And goddamn, would you take those glasses off? I like these glasses. They remind me of MacArthur.
Yeah. And let's see here. And Thunder says, a Soldier Story was when I was a kid. I hated Sergeant Waters, but as I got older, I understood him and what his problem was with CJ. Yeah. I mean, I understood it too, even though he was taking it a little bit too far, right?
We still have that problem today. Do we not within our culture?
But see, CJ was more like a simpleton. You know what I mean? Like just really like a simpleton. That's kind of how I saw his character. Anyway, CC, how you doing? If I didn't already say him that, he says, I love Twilight Zone. And one who cares, how are you? Says, greetings, Demetra and Donovan. Anastasia says, COVID has shown us that many of these people would hide their zombie bite or be feeding their zombie family members. Yeah, because this thing is out of control. Out of control. And Steve says, what about the Dallas TV show? I mean,
man, so many great actors went to that show. JR, oh my gosh. Plotting and scheming.
When I say my grandmama, I mean my grandmama on my mama's side, okay? She swore up and down those people were real. She talked about those people on Dallas like she really knew these people. And oh my God, when Who Shot JR was a thing, woo! Because they left it on the cliffhanger and he had to wait to the next season.
What do we use nowadays as soap opera for people nowadays that the young women are watching now?
You tell
Love
me.
and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, all that bull crap. That's why you have a lot of these young women have these expectations of this and that because they're watching this stuff that's on TV that's not real.
Sunlight says, yep, today CJ would be shamed. Yes, indeed. And Curtis, how you doing? He says, Nellie, the original Karen. Yeah, Nellie from Little House on the Prairie. Yeah, she was something else, her and her mama. And you say original. And let's see here. Moni says, now, Donovan, you hit up on something. Welcome back, Carter, with Benny Bomarino.
Barbarino.
Yeah, which was John Travolta. That's the way I always imagined him. How about Saturday Night Live? That was the best of all times. You mean Saturday Night Fever?
Yeah, Saturday Night Fever. That's what she means. But Saturday Night
Mhm.
Live actually came out in the 70s right there. And I think the first 6 seasons was the best seasons with John Belushi, Chevy Chase. And then
Mhm.
when Bill Murray came on a little bit after that, and then when Eddie Murphy came on. After Eddie Murphy left the show, and that last cast with Eddie Murphy, Saturday Night Live, I've never watched since. It hasn't been funny since to me.
And that guy from Texas says Kamala was president for a whole 85 minutes, right? It's like, cut the crap, okay? And it's also says, did you see where his mom says she wished he would have cleaned his toenails knowing he'd get murdered? Yeah, because that's what they were trying to say. His toenails were dirty. And it's like,
But
what does that have to do with anything?
right. But fellas, the guys that are watching the show, please like, share, and subscribe, by the way. How many times has our mother always told us to put on your clean underwear? That's exactly why they tell us that.
Yeah, I've heard that, or sleep with some underwear on in case the house catch on fire, you know? Um, Yeah, but that was very ridiculous. And Moni says, Dimitri, I think my favorite of all of the 80s will always be Dynasty. I tried to watch Dallas and Falcon Crest, but I found them to be crap. But the moment I seen Dynasty and then the Colbys, I just lit up. Yeah,
When
all
when
spinoffs.
Diane Carroll came on the show to battle Joan Collins, and it seemed like every other week they were fighting in that pool.
Yes, indeed. All right, so let me get to these comments because I know I'm a little bit behind. And the Pioneer says, ever since I saw Coming to America, every time I hear the words Gilligan Island, I think of Arsenio Hall Roll as a preacher who said, he have Gilligan, get off the island. Laugh out loud. JJ says Perry Mason's intro was good. Was that? Yes, my mom watched Perry Mason too. Pioneer says, man, no wonder you got 12 degrees, Donovan. You have a photographic memory that reaches far back.
Yes, I do. Well, not photographic, but I have good recall.
And Don says, Golden Girls classic theme song. Yes, indeed. Martin says, do y'all remember Sir Gabe that came on Saturday nights with all the creepy movies on Saturday? That was from the 1950s and 60s. And Frankie, Annette and Frankie Avalon, what Beach Party, all those different movies. Yeah, that Beach Blanket Bingo and all of those. Tawana says, moving on, a song by Janet Dubois. Yes, indeed. Who happened to be whose daughter? Do you guys know that?
Cab Calloway.
Cab Calloway. And
Of course, he didn't claim that for tax purposes.
Don says, Hanson Fester. And the Pioneer says, my father loved Perry Mason. He also loved Matlock. Don says, my uncle went to high school with OJ. Was he the same OJ as he is now? Probably, right? And the Pioneer says, Donovan, I said, Shamizel, not right, Schlong, which is probably what you were thinking. You know, Donovan. And then Sunlight says, I refuse anything but a tube TV, too complicated. And Marty says, and then if I go with the 80s, I'll go for a different world. And hearing the wonderful Detroit of Queens of Soul, Donovan, since you say nothing good comes out of Detroit International, like Aretha Franklin.
Wait a minute. I have never said nothing good's come out of Detroit. Again, I never said that.
And Pioneer says, I remember Night Gallery 2 is one of the first scary television series before Tales from the Crypt. Tales from the Dark Side, rather, and Tales from the Crypt, yeah.
And guess who got one of his very first directing roles on that show?
From Tales from the Crypt?
No, from Night Gallery.
Who?
Steven Spielberg. He directed Joan Crawford, one of her last roles ever in public.
Okay. And Thunder says 6 words you'll never hear in Texas. That hurricane came out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's pretty stressful. You know, I think I'm going to go to bed right after this due to the sleep I didn't get last night. And Steve says, I just bought a generator from Walmart. Original price was $424. I got it for, wow, $252. Stay ready, and you won't have to get ready. Weather is crazy. I'm going to tell you where I'm going to be. California. Okay, the minute I know that freeze is coming,
Oh, wait, are you sure that you and Ted Cruz aren't going down to Cancun to do your thing? And
I'll be out of shit. You know what? In retrospect, I mean, I'm mad that he did what he did, but I ain't mad. I mean, what was a man gonna do, right? He was like, shit, don't be mad at me. I got the means to get the hell out of here.
yeah, but he left his damn dogs. And since you guys are in an area like that, I hope you guys have got solar chargers for your phone, solar lighting. You got to really invest in that, because if your power goes out for a couple of days, it's going to make a difference. So solar.
I won't know because I ain't gonna be here. Okay, I'm gonna bleed the pipes, the water, drain all the water out of the pipes and stuff, and be up out of here. And Pioneer, hopefully I didn't skip anybody else's comment. Let's see here. And Pioneer says, "What? I just got on Money Hunt. Is our brother Donovan still on here bashing Detroit?"
I never bashed Detroit.
There's a long story. Jeremy says, "I'm gonna get to these comments because I see them behind." He says, "I was up late last night here in Huntsville, Texas, and yes, the wind was blowing pretty hard. Surprisingly, the power never went out. Yeah, I went out here eventually because I left today and came back, and my computer I had to restart it. So sometime it went out." Martin says, "What about the Bionic Woman, the Bionic Man, needless to say, Plastic Man, and all the Star cartoons, of course. My favorite will always be Scooby-Doo. I can never get tired of watching Winnie the Pooh." And Jeremy says, "Because of how long it took for the cold weather to finally hit in January, I think everyone needs to prepare for a very hot summer." And Natasha says, "I couldn't stand CJ, and I love the part when he said he had the nerve to ask why when we were cutting his throat." Yeah, when he was telling the story about when they were in France. And Pioneer says, I could look at Howard Rollins and tell something was going on. Something, you said, was going on with him. Most straight men don't look like that around the eyes. Laugh out loud. Wow. Your brother has some pretty fine eyes, I tell you that. And then it says, I absolutely love a soldier story. That makes all of us, right? And that guy from Texas says, I was watching Jurassic World and found out that Claire Bryce Dallas Howard is Ron Howard's daughter. Yes, she is acting. And she was something else that I saw not too long ago. Pioneer says, I too understand why he didn't like CJ. Yes, indeed. And Morning says, my James Bond, I think in the 80s with Duran Duran, with the whole theme song, that was it right there. If y'all think about it. And I love the group Duran Duran. How about you, Donovan, Dimitri? Yes. What do you think?
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, I love 80s music. So yeah.
If
it sounds good, I was for it.
Duran Duran was huge when I was in the 7th grade. That's when it came out. And
Union of the Snake and Rio. Her name is Rio.
Yeah. Hungry like a wolf. All of that. I tell y'all, the white girls was going crazy. Now, I wasn't going crazy for them. I just liked the music, right? But it was huge. And he also said, it's like I don't even watch nothing to do with the current administration. None of them. I do not care for them. I'm glad that we had a break from the demonic 45, but that's about it. Nothing good. Biden says, no lie. I personally think In Living Color was much better than Saturday Night Live, followed by Mad TV. Saturday Night Live was just good for being edgy, in my opinion. Good point.
And Charles, I don't even think it was edgy after a while. It was just plain blah.
And Charles says, Donovan, out here, New York, the Twilight with Zone would come on right after the Outer Limits. I was glued. Yeah, the original Outer Limits was good, the black and white, but the one that they remade, was creepy. And Monique, you say, and I'm gonna read one of your comments just to kind of catch up here. It says, I'm not going for the okie doke ever again. None of these people will ever get my vote on either side. I'm withholding my vote until it's talk about reparations flat out. Life is too short. You better believe it. And I'm with you. Thunder says, Tales from the Dark Side. And that's an old one right there. And Tales from the Dark Side, and there was another one that came on. Of course, you guys all know Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, right? And Anastasia says, yes, my mom always said I have on a clean matching underwear and socks just in case I got hit by a car. Sad thing versus them saying my life, they'd be worried if my underwear are clean. Yeah. And then Charles said Dallas and in your comment, he said Dallas and Dynasty. And Donnie says, Hoppin' Pfizer Incorporated. Oh, that's what they would say. Okay, Laverne and Shirley got it. And the Pioneer says that they are Yiddish words. A Shamil is a fool and a clumsy person, and a Shemizel is the victim of a fool or clumsy person's accident. Got it. And we just singing it, not even knowing what they're saying, right? The Pioneer says, not only did it get rid of qualified immunity, but you didn't even past the George Floyd bill. So you sat there and you lied to his beautiful little girl and to his family. And personally, I'm sick of it. Well, I mean, no shade to his little girl, at all, but she ain't special. He don't care about her. I'm not saying she ain't special to us, but she ain't special to him. Who is she? I mean, he's been lying his whole political career. Why should she do it differently?
Yeah, and you also got to remember, white people think this. When you take a settlement or you take money, they think there's your justice. That's how they believe. There's your justice. Get off of us. You got paid. You got to get off of us.
And Steve says, bleed the pipes, laugh out loud. That didn't sound good. Well, y'all know what I meant. Like, bleed the water from the pipes, because somewhere,
Let it drip.
Whatever reason here in Texas, you guys' pipes run through the ceiling opposed to underground, right? And through the ceiling and in the walls. And so I'm like, maybe I don't know why it's designed that way. But in California, I mean, I don't think we do have pipes running through the ceiling, do we?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. So I thought that was kind of weird. So when that happens, you have to bleed all the water out of the pipe, because when it freezes, it'll freeze the water in there. When it thaws out, the pipes will expand or have bust because the ice has broke them or whatever, and then it'll tear up your whole ceiling.
Yeah, but I bet you if you look at the planning zone in Texas, majority of the houses that are built in the black neighborhoods are built with the water into the ceiling.
Yeah, because a lot of those houses got, oh man, if you saw the footage of it, it's just jacked up. Anastasia says, yeah, he left the dog, so you know it was serious because they love their dogs more than their kids. Charles says, I thought the black guy on Saturday Night Live, Morgan Garrett, his name, was much funnier than Eddie Murphy on the shelf. Yeah, he was an OG. And yeah, he's one of the great comedians that a lot of people don't pay homage to. I agree with you.
And one of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm. And Donna says, if you live on the Gulf Coast for any amount of time and you don't know what to do by now for an emergency,
just get on the highway to the evacuation route. That's how you got to go. Head north.
All them cars. Yeah, I mean, and I'm new here, so I'm learning. But yeah, that tornado warning kind of jacked me up. I was like, oh.
That is why you should have a nice private pilot license so you can go to the local airport, rent a plane, and fly out while everybody's stuck in traffic.
And just fly out of the eye of the tornado, huh?
No, before the tornado gets there, you're just gone. You don't have to worry about the highway or anything like that.
Yeah, I keep that in mind. Let me write that down. And Leonard, how you doing? He says it's all. He says it's all Copaganda. I think you meant Copaganda. Barnaby Jones, Hawaii. 5-0. The Streets of San Francisco, Hill Street Blues, Starsky and Hutch, Chips, Heat of the Night, and the list goes on. Wow, you named some that we didn't name at all, like Streets of San Francisco, Hawaii 5-0.
Who replaced
Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah, who replaced Michael Douglas in Streets of San Francisco for a season?
I don't know.
Apollo from Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
Yeah. What's his name? Richard Hatch.
And the guy from Texas says traffic in Virginia is backed up for 50 miles. Why? What's going on there? I say, I'm not watching the news. So what's going on in Virginia? And Reginald, he says, why did Sidney marry a white woman instead of a black woman?
Stop. Demetra, I will cash app you the $50 after the show.
It's funny because we were talking about it. We said somebody's going to bring that up, and we're just going to wait and see, who brings up he was married to a white woman. I don't know why specifically.
Why should he be happy, damn it?
Well, I don't know why he was married to a white woman, but I just think during the time, a lot of them were married to white women. And I remember Eartha Kitt actually gave an interview where she said she had been with Sidney Poitier. I think it was Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, and a couple of the other ones.
Was a very sexually liberated woman.
But she said, even though, and I'm paraphrasing, while lying in bed with her, they said that I could never marry you because and I'm paraphrasing, you can't get me what I need. And so what would get them what they need, I guess, I don't know, being with a white woman. So back then, a lot of those actors, they married white women. But I guess that was probably a sign of making it. But he was married to his wife for almost 50 years. But I don't know why specifically. And Thunder says, who do you need? Who do you trust when you come undone? So you asking me specifically? Well, you got to kind of be resourceful. I mean, I got people I could call to help me, type of thing. But sometimes you just got to be resourceful. You know what I mean? I'm a daddy's girl, so he's taught me a lot of things. My dad is the type of dad that when I first learned how to swim, he threw us in the swimming pool. He said, "This is your swimming lesson." Just tossed us in the swimming pool and said, "Figure it out. Are you gonna drown or are you gonna swim?"
Yeah, swim. That's how I learned. My uncle threw me in the pool and he just said swim, and I started swimming.
And later on, my mom got us official swimming lessons.
Yeah, the thing is though, where people get confused with swimming, you want to tread water. No, just swim. You dive in the water, just start stroking to the side, and then as you get more comfortable, you're going to learn to tread on your own.
Yeah, just don't panic. And Steve says a reflex, Duran. And Thunder says, I have a question. Since the pandemic, how many people went back to go watch the movie The Stand by Stephen King? I have not rewatched it, but maybe I should. I'm a Stephen King fan. I like Stephen King's work. I did the arduous task of reading it when I was in high school, senior year in high school. I read it almost 1,200 pages. That's a task, but the book, I'm telling you, is far scarier than any movie made.
Yeah, I'm currently reading The Dark Tower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a Stephen King fan for some reason. I read a lot of his books back then. And Jeremy, you say China Beach was my show. My mother really liked to watch. Yeah, that's
reflections of things that used to be.
Yeah,
reflections of.
Yeah, they play a lot of that Motown stuff.
Yeah.
And Thunder says, I read that in. Amoni says, Now to the Monsters was the next coolest thing. You got to admit that I really enjoyed that in terms of their song and Mission Impossible with Clarence Williams, underrated, great actor. Yes, indeed. Anastasia says, don't forget the monsters. Yeah, cannot forget the monsters. And Don says, Tales from the Crypt, Dimitri. Yeah, Tales from the Crypt was very creepy, especially the one about the roaches. And Moni says, if you get to be that shrewd and bring your lunch, which it can be okay for safety purposes, that means you're just cheap, and that's a damn shame, Donovan. Let's just call it like it is. Some of these people are cheap. Are cheap people?
Well, the thing is, how is that cheap if he's thrifty? He doesn't want to waste his money like everybody else. I mean, I hate when people say, "Oh, this person is cheap because they don't spend money like I do." Maybe he has a reason. Maybe he wants to get a big mansion. Maybe he wants to pay for it right in cash. How is that being cheap?
I heard LeBron James, I don't know how true it is, but I heard that he doesn't pay to have the commercials taken out of his streaming, like Pandora and all that. He's fine with the commercials. Now, this dude is a billionaire. And Curtis, he said, Sidney trailblazed a way for so many Black actors is really uplifting just to get slammed back to earth when 3 bigoted hillbillies can chase down and kill a mob like a dog. Good point. And Thunder says, this is Texas. You don't need a pilot's license. And you sure don't need a pew-pew license. And go better.
Yeah, let me say something to Curtis, though. But Curtis, I love what you said there. But isn't it sad that we, as a group of people, did not take that baton, even though it wasn't extended yet, by the other generation to move the ball forward? I mean, to where we've regressed more so than we've progressed. I blame that all on us.
And Gilberto says, Dimitri, my grandfather always told us, make sure you keep your car filled with gas because you never know when you have to hit the highway and get out of here. Yeah, listen, I know sometimes people are lazy and maybe you just don't have it, but having fumes fuel your car, that's a no-go. Yeah, I always try to keep, my car full, at least half tank. And then if, I get around to it, I fill it back up. But yeah, I'm not trying to get caught like that, but I totally agree. And Money said, Donovan, what was the name of the TV show where the man was Louis Vondra D made a deal with the devil to sell cursed antiques they would always have to go and try to retrieve back? Name it.
That sounds like Hellraiser to me, where they're trying to sell the monkey paw or something like that. I'm not exactly sure if it was.
And they're making that over too. And Anastasia says, I have a house in Killing, and the tornado hit my house. Oh, says, and then my house hit everyone else's on the block, but I got a totally new upstairs and bathroom remodeling 2015. See, that is some scariness right there.
The thing about Californians, if something like that happened to our house, we don't stay. You guys keep rebuilding. That's like Hurricane Alley. California, we leave. We go find something else.
Jesus, that's scary. And the pioneer says, all of this disaster preparedness will come in handy for the coming zombie apocalypse. Laugh out loud. You know, one is going to eventually come with all of these variants constantly coming out. You know what? You and my daughter are on the same wavelength. She talks about it all the time. She goes, I know it. I just know there is going to, if we're not already in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. And I said, okay, great. Then we're not working out for vanity anymore. We're working out for survival because I need to be able to run away from these mugs. Okay. Hop, jump fences, and swing stuff and all of that. So just so you know. And let's see. And Charles says, I know actually, Curtis says, laugh out loud, Donovan Richard Pryor reference. And Charles says, we're going to have to end up voting someone else in so they can see how power, he says, don't stay on the sideline. So you're saying,
Yeah,
we need to vote, but we need to vote until we get something. Or don't
yeah.
hold the vote until we get something.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, with our black representatives, I mean, you're just as good putting a white person in there. At least they'll do something, a little something at the local level, because the black folks ain't doing a damn thing.
Oh, got it, Thunder. Who do you need to trust when you can come undone? Duran. Yeah, Duran. They were actually touring a couple years back, and white ladies my age, I was about to say old white ladies, lost their stuff. And Anastasia says, Eartha Kitt did say that, and yeah, he wanted to come up, and nothing has changed. What Kanye said, he'll leave your butt for a white girl. Yeah, and that was, what she said. They would bed her, but they would never make her an honest woman. They were gonna go do that with other women, and so she was like,
Yeah,
because
then
Eartha was married. Wasn't she married to a white man as well?
Yeah, she had a daughter for a white man. Yeah, but the funny thing about that, after her experience with like those guys, Sammy Davis Jr. fell madly in love with her and even gave her an engagement ring, and she wouldn't marry Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting. I read Sammy Davis Jr.'s autobiography, and it was amazing as well. And Jeremy, you say the song was that was a song by Duran called "Come Undone, Come Undone." I don't think that was meant to be a question of the people you can rely on. Demetra and the Democrats. Okay, now I see. I'm really bad with lyrics and stuff like that, but I'm good with melodies. Okay, so thank you for that. But I answered the question anyway, right? And the Pioneer says, for what I've seen lately, the biggest problem in society and infrastructure breaks down won't be the elements and looking for food, but safety and protecting yourself from the food of the society. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Get ready because people are coming whether you want them to or not, right? Whether you have an alarm or security system, they'll get in if they're hungry. And the also says, he said, and that's how all black kids learn how to swim. I learned the same way at Coney Island Beach by my mom. Yeah, it's like you're gonna sink or swim, literally, right? And Pioneer says so many people are hooked on drugs, both legal and illegal, that if supply is disrupted, many of them will literally go crazy. Look at how many people are addicted to those monster drinks. Yeah, I don't drink those at all. It's got to be hard on your liver. And your bladder and all that. And Tawana says SNL was supposed to be an all-white cast. Lauren Michaels saw Garrett Morris perform and signed him on the spot without telling his writers that Garrett was a brother. Wow, come on with the history. And Marty says, I already said Moonlighting Donovan with Al Jarreau singing. That's one of the best of the 1980s theme song. But what about Louis Vonderdy made a deal with the devil to sell cursed antiques? Name it. Thunder says freaky.
I don't remember the show. I don't remember.
Thunder says freaky and creepy was Alfred Hitchcock, but for some reason I couldn't stop watching. Yeah, if you guys, it's a movie that will change your mind about how you feel about Alfred Hitchcock called The Girl. The Girl is the name of the movie, and I think you can watch it on Prime. It's probably one of my favorite movies. Saw it in 2018. I think it was 2019 is what. The Girl. And it shed a lot of light on Alfred Hitchcock. And I'm thinking with the Me Too movement, why haven't they gone after, I know he's dead, but his stuff and all of that due to the things that he did. You'll have to check it out, The Girl. And Pioneer says, Queen, did our sister Moni Hunt come on the show yet? I've been waiting for our sister to pull up for over 2 months now. We're waiting on Moni too, but when she was supposed to come, she was out and about, and then her cousin wanted to come on, and we want her to come on to tell her story. So we're just waiting on her to give us a date. And Moni has sent me a copious amount of footage. The guy from Texas says, that's true. My aunt took us to the Y and threw us in the water. Yeah, so that's a lesson we all got. And Mona says, the pioneer. So you're talking about, and then Thunder says, Sidney was telling us what was needed from us when he backhanded that man in the mouth. You ain't lying. And oh, wow. Anastasia says, Bob Saget died. He wasn't that old. What happened to him? Was he sick? And Pioneer says, Brother Donovan, I'm glad you're spreading some of the blame around to our and the younger generation for not accepting and passing the baton along that was handed to us from the civil rights generation.
Well, no. It wasn't. The baton wasn't handed to us. They haven't extended it yet. That's why they're still in power. So what I'm saying is, though, that shouldn't be an excuse for us not to still do the best we can to move forward.
Yeah, what happened to him, Anastasia? You say he died. Wow, Bob Saget.
Dimitri was a big Empty House fan.
I mean, I watched it. What was it called? It wasn't called Empty House. What was it called? Oh shit, I forget the
Full
name.
House.
Full House. Yeah, Full House. And the guy from Texas says, "Oh no, Bob Saget just died." Wow, he couldn't have been that old, right? Anastasia says, Dimitri, killing Texas is right next to Fort Hood. Okay. He says, Pioneer, well, I'm just saying, laugh out loud. How many variants can constantly keep coming out and going globally until eventually a big one comes out that either kills out the population or turns most into zombies? Yeah.
But you got to remember, this was a bioweapon that was released out of Wuhan, China. We keep forgetting how this thing originated. So it's something that's not natural. So as it's mutating and mutating until it reaches its thing in Africa and wipes all those Africans out and black people out like they're supposed to, they're going to let it do what it do.
Yes, indeed. Rip to Bob Saget. Hey, Deadshot, how you doing? And Charles says, I don't watch Stephen King movies. They said he dreams all of his movies. I'm staying away from that action. He dreams some of them, and he also says, because I watched some interviews on him, that he sits in a room, I believe it was with a red light bulb, and he, thinks of things. And I told y'all one interview I saw was very creepy. Somebody says, well, how do you think of these things? And he said, how he comes up with the stuff. And he says, like, for instance, imagine that and all of us do it every day, right? Imagine you're going into a room and it's dark and you are trying to find the light switch. You can't find it because, most of us do that, right? But sometimes we're trying to struggle to find the light switch and something places its hand on your hand and pushes your hand to the light switch.
Yeah, mine's usually the cat.
I was like, that is some creepy shit right there. And Morning, you say, and I'm gonna read one of your comments. It says, if you think about it, Donovan and Dimitri, the 70s and 80s was just better for all movies, especially the scary movies like Needlehead and Dollhouse and Michael Myers and Jason Amityville Horror. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the Hollywood has ran out of ideas completely. That's why you're seeing all these remakes. Show me a remake that was better than the original.
And they're supposed to be killing off Michael this year too. We gonna see.
Hasn't happened yet. Nothing is better than the original.
And Thunder says, but in all seriousness, family, the way things are going with these new variants and these people who are against the current administration, it would behoove us to prepare our homes and our families. I agree, because you know what, Thunder, a lot of people just joking around thinking it's good time, but no, we really should get ahead of the game, because this thing is, as you guys can see, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And Marty says, did anyone ever watch the series Benny Hill Prison Cell Block? Yes, I watched it. My mom watched Cell Block H. I was a little bit young, but my mom would watch it, and he said, I like Benny Hill. He was really funny. I didn't see it as too sexual graphic. It just showed you from an English standpoint. Yeah, but they couldn't have nothing like that on nowadays without people getting mad.
Oh, the Me Too movement, the women just a feminist. It's funny how the feminists, they pick and choose what they want to stand up for. It's just ridiculous. These women out here exploiting themselves on OnlyFans. I have yet to see a feminist complain about the OnlyFans situation where women are out there doing it. But how many of you guys know Benny Hill actually was on D-Day and he landed at the D-Day landings? He was a soldier when that accident.
I guess. And let's see here. And Brother Sammy, how you doing? He says, one thing about interracial marriages from the past, they both recognize and fought on the side of the oppressed. Many in their 90s denied injustice exists and made excuses for it. I don't know about today, though. For me, give me my own. I know that's right, brother. And let's see here. And you also say he was 65. So Bob Saget was 65. Tawana says TMZ said Saget was found dead inside a hotel room with the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. Wow. That's a shame. And then Anastasia says Full House, and they haven't released the cause of death. And Moni says, I like Little House on the Prairie is another one. Donovan used to get me. I don't care when it deals with the white folks and nothing that happens to them. Never did as a child either. Maybe it's just me. And Pioneer says Stephen King also used spiritual methods to get inspiration from his movies, but most writers and directors use so-called occult methods to get their inspiration. Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, Stephen King has always complained. Every movie that was based on one of his books, he has always complained that it never was the ending or how they did the story. It wasn't what the book was like. It wasn't what he wanted.
I think the It series, the movie, is the one that he really finally said that he liked. The last one, the real one that they put into the movie, not the one that made for TV. But neither one of them come close to the book. I'm telling you. And let's see here. And Gilbert says Robert Bob Saget was 47 and died in of scleroderma. So he was.
Hold
65.
up, he was 47?
No, he was older than that, 65.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what he had. And then so that guy from Texas says he was 65. And I'm just kind of skip through some of these comments so I can get to the end. And Jeremy says there will be more and more CV mutations until they finish targeting all different groups of people. Now they're targeting children next. It will be all comedians. Pioneer says, well, the interesting thing about the virus so far is that it doesn't kill off Black people much, except for those living around a lot of them folks. The tribe of Shabazz was made to withstand anything.
Yep. Talk to Herman Cain.
Stop it. And Mona says the skipper is the longest living one Donovan from Gilligan's Island. So she must be watching the replay. And Gilbert says,
the skipper has long been dead. He died in the 80s.
So yeah, Bob Saget was 65, 66. And Anastasia and Ahara Noir was good for us. We always died first or sacrificed ourselves for white folks, except Demon Knight. The Black guy left all them white folks. And the Pioneer says, remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the tribe of the Shabazz, whom we take to be the Africans, were made to be amongst the toughest and strongest people on the planet for a purpose. Yes, indeed. And Gilbertus is actually 65 because birthday is in May. Okay. And Moni, he says, all right, how about the birds and Soylent Green? Now, Demetra and Donovan, if you think about it, Soylent Green rather, was getting us prepared for the 60s and past 2050. Isn't that unique with Charlton Heston? And Gilbert says the message was retracted. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, on this end, I don't know why they don't retract the message on our end, but like on YouTube and stuff, it'll retract, but here it'll stay. So, okay. And Moni says Edgar G. Robinson and Charlton Heston played in Sawyer Green.
She meant Heston. Charlton
Heston. Oh, was it Sawyer Green? That was a hell of a movie. I thought that was futuristic all times you got at the end of the day, old school. And the Pioneer says, Brother Donovan, you mentioned our brother Herman Cain, but he hung around a lot of white folks. He even went to the Republican convention with no mask on. So that's a good example. Yeah. He was up in there dancing and singing right along with him. And then, oh, well, right?
3 weeks later, dead.
Right. Mona said, Charlie's Angels. Let's not forget about that one. And still, I'm going to say The Bionic Woman. That was another one with Lee Merritt. And the Pioneer says, our sister Moni made an excellent point about Soylent Green, and how they were prepared people even back then to start eating people. Oof.
Well, the Omega Man, last man on Earth, I Am Legend. That's talking about the zombie apocalypse.
Anastasia says, but they've been eating Black people. Soylent Green was a documentary. Right. Pioneer says, great show as usual. King and Queen, thank you. Thank you guys. And we're going to get out of here so y'all can hear my voice. It's like, so thank y'all for being here. And then we're going to start doing our podcast, Donovan and I, and releasing them on Saturdays. We do them Saturday mornings, then we put them up just so we can talk about things and have our own little commentary going on here. And I'm going to read y'all comments at the end. Mona says, Joe Brenner, the King and I, he also played a few times with Clinton Walker and James Garner. Those are some good, beautiful cats right there. Like a really act. Demetra, which one did you like? I mean, if I had to say, Yul Brynner was interesting. And that's Donovan. That was Donovan's old name. That was his old name
I was
on
the
here.
Black Yul Brynner.
The Black Yul Brynner. And Wilbur, if I didn't already, hello. He says, Art Imitating Life was definitely captured in Netflix. Don't look up. Yeah, my daughter watched it. I have to watch it, but she was kind of freaked out by it. But she watched it. But they said it's pretty good though. And Brother Samuel says, y'all remember Land of the Lost? Yes.
Yes.
Why, of course. And what was the little thing's name?
I forget, but Chaka.
I just called somebody a sleeve stack the other day.
Yeah, sleeve stack.
It was what was the little? It started with an M. The little thing that was, it was like the little. It wasn't his pet, their pet, but
Chaka.
And the things that was after was the sleeve stacks.
Sleeve stacks, right?
Yeah. And Gilbert says, thanks again, Dimitri Donovan. Thank you. And that guy from Texas says, Trump said Herman Cain was his good friend, but didn't even go to his funeral. Right. Yeah. He's like, shit, he died from the COVID. And Anastasia says they can't make the $6 million man or a woman because Cardi B and Kim K cost more. Now that's a good one.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. And Brother Sam says Ironside was popular in my childhood, and the pioneers of Brother Donovan. Your memory is frightening. Laugh out loud. Yes, indeed. Donovan has a really good memory. So anyway, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. We will see y'all next Sunday, and look for our podcast on Saturdays. And I try to do a video throughout the week if I'm not too busy. But we love and appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you, Marcus, for everything that you do behind the scenes on Facebook, YouTube, and Facebook. The other side of the conversation. You guys are really dope. Thank you, Donovan, the recovering Democrats, Sadiq, and always we have a PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. If you guys want to help the show become a member, join the super chat, however it's convenient for you. And those of you guys who donate often, we love and appreciate you for that. And those of you who want to but can't, we still love and appreciate you as well. So we will see you guys next week. And again, look for the podcast every Saturday. Yes. Have a good one.